Transference. Fade in. Interior mining cave, day. Circa 1880s, the Old West. Pitch black. The distant sound of boots running and scuffling on dirt and rock. The sound increases as the unseen runner approaches. Heavy, labored breathing. Dwight, mid-30s, appears in dimly lit flashes as he sprints and stumbles through a dark, abandoned mine shaft. Dressed in 19th century Western clothing and carrying heavy saddlebags, he's agitated and sweating profusely. The walls of the cave drip with water. They're gleaming and slick to the touch. Torches, spaced evenly along the walls, flicker as he hurtles past. Exhausted, he tucks himself into a crevasse in the cave wall. Removing his round spectacles, he wipes the sweat from his dirt-smudged face. He tries to steady his breathing, listening for his pursuer. Putting his spectacles back on, he peeks carefully out from his hiding spot. An old track, like the spine of a prehistoric creature, runs down the center of the mine shaft. About 30 yards ahead, it splits into a Y. Frantic, he looks towards each path of the Y. A beat. Springing from his position, catching his foot on one of the rail tiles, he falls forward, hitting the ground face first. Dust and dirt fly up in a giant puff. From a split bag, gold coins scatter. He lies stunned, breathless and coughing.
Easy. Steady your breathing. I'm here.
A rail cart starts to move down the track toward him. He's paralyzed by fear. The rusty wheels creak as it approaches. He rolls onto his back and props himself up on his elbows, staring into the darkness where the track disappears. From out of the black, the cart rolls slowly up to where he lies and stops at his feet. He doesn't move. Slowly, standing, he clumsily grabs a flickering torch and cautiously peers into the cart. It's empty. A deep sigh of relief. From behind, the click of a gun being cocked. He freezes.
Turn around.
I don't want.
You have to. We're almost there.
I can't.
You can.
He's totally screwed, shaking, slowly turning, stretching the torch out in front of him to see his pursuer. The torch begins to illuminate the face of the person holding the gun. Bang! Interior, psychiatrist's office, day. Circa 2039. On the couch, Dwight wakes, startled, breathing heavily. He wears thick glasses, a t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers. The couch lines one wall of the modern office. In front of the couch is a glass-top coffee table. A large oak desk sits across the room. Dr. Robert Courtney, early 40s, GQ good looks, boyish charm, is seated in a comfortable armchair catter-corner to the couch. He touches Dwight's shoulder.
It's okay. It's okay. You're back. Here, have a drink of this.
Court hands him a glass of water. Dwight sits up, a little unsteady, and takes a drink. He throws his head back.
Wow, that sucked.
Take a minute.
Dr. Courtney studies Dwight intently.
What do you see?
I'm not sure.
As he turned, go back now. Think. You're at the cart. You're turning.
I don't know. Shit.
It's okay. It's okay. It'll come to you. When it does, put it on paper.
Yeah, have you seen what I've done so far?
Okay. So you're no Picasso.
Shoot. He ain't got nothing on me, Mr. Potato Head.
Dwight looks down at his latest group of elementary drawings on the coffee table, made up of partially drawn faces, sometimes just the eyes, a mouth, or part of an ear. Court smiles and glances at his watch.
It's fine. Look, our time's up for today. These things can take a while, but we'll get there. Just hang in.
Yeah, okay, Doc. Whatever you say.
Court shows Dwight to the door.
See you next week.
Court shuts the door behind him. He crosses to his desk, taking Dwight's drawings with him. There are other drawings on his desk, partial faces. He lays them side by side, comparing them. He opens his laptop computer. He brings up a folder entitled Patient Drawings, then a folder labeled Ears, then another folder labeled Left Ears. The screen populates with 30 different drawings of left ears and just portions, the lobe or cartilage. He enlarges 6 of the drawings, noticing similarities in the ears near the top, a notch. He zooms in closer. He then brings up another folder named Noses. An array of hand-drawn noses appear. Again, he pulls forward 3 or 4 of the drawings where the nose is similar in shape. He pulls forward a drawing of an ear and a nose. He puts them side by side, like he's trying to piece together a puzzle. The alarm on his watch beeps. A sigh of frustration. He closes his laptop. He grabs the stack of folders along with his computer, drops them into his briefcase, and snaps it shut. Interior, auditorium, day. A large screen plays a video showing Dr. Courtney engaged in a hypnotherapy session with a young patient, Rebecca. She's lying on a couch with electrodes attached to her head. The wires run to a monitoring system next to Court.
In 3, 2, 1, you're back.
Rebecca opens her eyes.
How do you feel, Rebecca?
Good. Very good.
That's excellent. I'm going to ask you a few questions now. Is that okay?
Rebecca nods her consent. Court speaks in French.
Do you remember who you saw? Francesca, possibly?
Rebecca replies in French.
Yes, of course. Francesca, yes.
Where was Francesca?
On the Champs-Élysées. Magnificent!
Ah, yes. Really is nice. Could you see the Arc de Triomphe?
Yes, and all of the roads and lights.
And what was written on the monument?
I couldn't see.
Rebecca shakes her head side to side. She switches to English.
It started to rain. I'm sorry, Doctor. I had it for a while, but now I lost it.
It's fine. Perfectly normal.
The video ends. A clip with 2 brain images appears, labeled Rebecca Before and Rebecca After. Court takes the stage and addresses the audience.
We've come a long way from the theory that consciousness results from specific and non-specific recurrent thalamocortical systems, interacting in the gamma band frequency.
Court indicates video images with a light pointer.
With the help of newly developed drugs, we can identify very specific subfrequencies within the gamma bands and access them via the main functional and anatomical drivers.
Court touches areas of the brain slides with the pointer.
By pinpointing this oscillation variation, we captured and manifested the French-speaking ability from Rebecca's past life as Francesca and transferred it into Rebecca's present consciousness. This is just one example of what we've been able to do with H.C.A.T.
Dr. Courtney brings up a slide. H.C.A.T, Human Consciousness Attribute Transference.
Our past lives and present consciousness are connected. The transference today of Francesca's French-speaking ability to Rebecca was brief, but we are on the cusp of being able to make the attribute permanent in the present consciousness. Imagine a world where you can learn a language or a surgical procedure in minutes. Via the transference of a past life attribute, the potential of H.C.A.T is enormous.
A final clip. H.C.A.T, Improving Humanity One Past Life at a Time, appears. Applause.
Thank you, Dr. Courtney. Your research is quite incredible. We just have time for a few questions. The gentleman right there.
The moderator points to a man in the 3rd row.
Doctor, are you able to pinpoint only the specific attribute, or does some of the personality of the past consciousness also transfer?
Well, it's very difficult to completely separate the attribute from the subject's persona. We found that the female exhibits the strongest residuals, and the past life experience is not gender specific.
So, if I transferred an attribute from a female, I might...
Have the urge to try on your wife's lingerie? Yes.
Audience laughter.
And the cues or triggers?
Well, they can be a sound, a smell, a name, anything significantly related to that persona or attribute.
Well, thank you, Doctor.
Hands go up all around the auditorium.
Yes, the young lady in the front.
Rachel Johnson, mid-30s, attractive, stands. She's smartly dressed, hair pulled back, stylish, thick-rimmed glasses. She's holding a copy of Court's book.
Dr. Courtney, in your book you mentioned that your mother, Deborah Jaffe?
Yes, she took her maiden name after her and my father split.
She was one of the reasons you got into past life regression therapy.
That's right.
She was quite devout.
She was. She believed in a higher power.
And you, Doctor?
I believe in science.
She disappeared, correct?
Yes.
You think she's still there, though? Someone else's past life?
It's possible. Likely even.
Her disappearance had to have been very difficult at such a young age.
I'm sorry, but is there a question that I can answer for you regarding H.C.A.T?
Yes, of course, Doctor. I was just wondering what she would say to those critics who now insist that you're playing God.
An uncomfortable silence comes over the auditorium.
The irony is not lost on me. I can assure you, Miss...
Johnson. Rachel Johnson.
But any good rational scientist knows that there's no such thing as God. At least, I haven't seen him in the lab.
Gentle laughter from the audience.
Really, though, Doctor, transferring attributes and characteristics across consciousnesses, are you not concerned at all about the boundaries you're crossing, the Pandora's box you're potentially opening?
As scientists, we have to take risks, make sacrifices for the betterment of humanity.
Dr. Courtney glances to the back and sees two men in suits standing against the wall. Detective Kronka, mid-50s, balding, overweight, and Detective O'Malley, mid-40s, short hair, neatly dressed and pressed.
We are explorers. Crossing boundaries is inevitable.
Many people in the medical and scientific communities believe that the drug H.C.A.T, which you developed to assist in the transference, is, well, frankly, dangerous.
So I've heard. This isn't 2025 anymore. The rules have changed. Treatments that were taboo just 20 years ago, in your lifetime, Miss Johnson, are now widely accepted. Stem cell therapies, cryogenics, genetic splicing, the list goes on.
Yes, doctor, but...
Our boundaries are always expanding. As scientists and teachers, we help shift those boundaries. I believe we should always move forward. Keep striving to better understand why we are here and what's next.
Thank you, Dr. Courtney. And what's next for all of us is a break. We'll adjourn for 15 minutes and then our next panel will begin. The doctor will be signing out books in the lobby.
Applause. Court unhooks his lapel mic, collects his briefcase, and descends the stairs at the side of the stage. People are on him immediately. The aisles are crowded as he tries to make his way to the back, shaking hands on the way.
Dr. Courtney! Dr. Courtney!
Miss Johnson.
I would love to discuss your research with you in more detail, doctor.
Court looks over his shoulder. He sees one of the suited gentlemen raise his head up to make sure Court sees him.
I'm sure. Would that be a discussion or more of a cross-examination, Miss Johnson?
Rachel, please, doctor.
Okay, look, Rachel. I have something to take care of right now, but feel free to call my office to make an appointment.
Court hands her a business card. Dismissing her, he backpedals as she speaks.
The number's there on the card.
The suits start slowly down the aisle toward him. Rachel grabs his arm tightly and draws him close, keeping Court between her and the two approaching suits.
You're in danger, doctor.
Rachel slips a piece of paper into Court's hand, then disappears into the crowd seconds before the men in suits arrives. Court glances down at the paper. The message reads, RJ 555-2830. Don't trust anyone. Confused, he quickly puts it into his pocket as Detective Kronka puts his hand on Court's shoulder. Court turns around.
Detective Kronka, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Doc, you remember my partner, Detective O'Malley?
Sure, how could I forget?
I can't believe people actually pay to come listen to this mumbo-jumbo.
Oh, Detective, stick around. We might be able to find someone in your past life that actually had a personality.
O'Malley's posture stiffens.
In fact, that mustache you wear typically predicts a predisposition to an attraction to young boys. Do you have those urges, Detective?
O'Malley moves toward Court.
Go to hell, Doctor.
Was that a no? I couldn't tell.
Kronka steps between the two men.
Wait in the car.
O'Malley turns and walks away. Court waves as he leaves.
Listen, I need your assistance. Female, early 20s, assaulted, maybe connected to a string of other attacks. She saw the guy's face, but she's having trouble with details.
I don't know, Detective. The rash of shit I took from your brethren downtown the last time.
Well, those assholes were just jealous. We don't have to do it at the station. We can send her to your office. We need your help. I need your help.
Okay. Have your people call my office to set it up.
Thanks, Doc. I won't forget this.
Have a good day, Detective. You should stick around. Grab a brochure.
Court nods towards a rack of brochures by the open doors.
The next lecture is on porn addiction.
Really? You can cure that?
Court starts toward the open door of the auditorium. Several young, attractive women wait outside to talk to him. Kronka starts toward the rack, then notices a young woman looking at him. He clears his throat and pulls his hand away. Interior, Court's bedroom, morning. A few rays of light stream gently through half-open curtains. A cell phone sits on the nightstand. The alarm is beeping. Court clumsily reaches for it, squinting as he turns it off. He props himself up on one elbow and with some effort sits up on the edge of the bed. He rubs his head as if it's pounding. A half-empty glass of wine and partly smoked joint sit on the nightstand. A naked young woman is asleep next to him. Court runs his hand through his hair. A groan. He pushes himself up from the bed, grabs the phone from the nightstand, and moves slowly out of the room. Interior, Court's hallway, day. Court lumbers down the hall, steadying himself on the wall. Interior, Court's kitchen, day. Court makes coffee. Some mail is on the counter. He flips through it. At the bottom, a magazine, Psychology Today. On the cover, a picture of him as a young boy with a woman, and a picture of him now. The title, Boy Wonder to Scientist Seer, Tragedy to Triumph, and H.C.A.T. He picks it up, looking at it thoughtfully. A ding breaks his concentration. A holographic message.
Appointment. Ashley Geiger, assault victim, 6:30 p.m. tonight. Sorry for the after hours. Everything else full. Detective Conklin was very insistent.
Shit, that was fast.
Exterior neighborhood street, morning. Court jogs in a hoodie and sweatpants, laboring a bit. A dark, blacked-out SUV approaches from behind him. It stays about 20 yards back, following slowly. Court moves over to the edge of the road. As he continues to run, he glances back and waves them past. The SUV edges up closer. Court glances over his shoulder.
What's your problem? Jesus.
Court waves them past again. The SUV guns the engines and races past and stops, cutting him off. Court stumbles to a stop. Agent Milo Tibideaux, mid-50s, large, strong Louisiana accent, opens the back passenger door and leans out.
Dr. Courtney, please give in. This would take just a minute.
Tibideaux hands him a card. It reads, Milo Tibideaux, Field Office Head, Department of Homeland Security. Court hesitates, then gets into the SUV.
Good morning, Doctor. Beautiful morning for a run.
What's this about?
Right to the point. I do like that. Your research has not gone unnoticed, Doctor.
It's really just in the beginning stages.
Quite the contrary. That's what you would like people to believe, but we know you've actually perfected permanent transfer, and you are working on host to surrogate transference.
How do you...
Doctor, the world we live in is a very dangerous place. If H.C.A.T were to fall into the wrong hands, it would be catastrophic.
I see. And the right hands are?
There are certain elements of H.C.A.T that could be useful to me.
Sure. Keep us safe from the evildoers.
Don't be naive, Doctor. It doesn't suit you, even if you can garner enough financial support, let alone political support, to bring H.C.A.T to complete fruition. You can't control it. Keep it safe. You need us.
That's not why I created an agent.
Court glances down at the agent's card.
Tibideaux, this really isn't your purview, is it? Shouldn't you be writing up TSA policy on how to, I don't know, legally cop a feel?
Tibideaux smiles, moves in close, right next to Court.
You know, a lot of people don't like you, Dr. Courtney. You're smug and arrogant, always thinking you're the smartest guy at the table, even when you're not.
And you're never the smartest guy at the table, even when you want to be.
Aha, there it is again, that impudence. I'm a patient man, Doctor, but you really should be more careful. You don't know who you're dealing with.
No, I think I know exactly who I'm dealing with.
We're not the ones you should be worried about.
And why is that?
Let's just say there are other forces at work here.
Of course, forces. And on that note, I would like to get out.
Agent Tibideaux leans in even closer, sizing Court up. Court fidgets in his seat. Tibideaux pats him gently on the chest.
Certainly. I do apologize for interrupting your run.
Tibideaux nods to one of the other agents, who opens the door. Court exits the vehicle. Tibideaux shuts the door and then rolls down the window just as the SUV is about to leave.
Think about what I've said, Doctor. We can help each other.
The SUV pulls away. Tibideaux's texting. Phone screen. 2 DC. Need more time. He hits send. Interior, Court's office. Day. Court works at his desk. A knock. Louise, mid-50s, peeks in.
Your 6:30 is here, Miss Geiger.
Great, show her in.
Louise opens the door. Ashley Geiger, 5'3", bleached blonde hair, army fatigues, enters.
I'm going to knock off, unless you need me.
No, that's fine, Louise.
Ashley's green army jacket is easily 3 sizes too big, engulfing her upper torso. Her hair falls onto her face, veiling her features with the exception of her jet-black lips. Piercings track along her right ear. She stands motionless, just inside the closed door, hands in her pockets, slouching. Court rises and motions toward the couch.
Please, Miss Geiger. Please come in and have a seat. I'm Dr. Courtney.
Court extends his hand. She ignores him, moving slowly to the couch and plopping down in the middle.
Detective Cronky gave me your basics. I'm sorry about your ordeal. He thought maybe it would help if we talked for a while.
Ashley continues looking straight ahead. She's silent.
Can I get you a glass of water?
Ashley shrugs. Court moves towards the water dispenser. Ashley jumps up and walks around the room, scanning the pictures on the wall. Court's back is to Ashley as he fills a cup with water.
So, where are you from originally?
Nowhere.
Well, we all have to be from somewhere.
Court notices he dripped water on his shoe. He bends down to wipe it off. A whoosh over his head and a bang. The knife Ashley has just thrown barely misses Court's head, lodging firmly in the wall. Court whirls to face Ashley. She is rooted in place, legs shoulder-width apart. She's discarded the green tent masquerading as a jacket. An upper body fit for a ninja warrior is revealed. A crop tank top fits her tightly, exposing a six-pack of abs. Her hair is tucked into a small whale tail atop her head. She holds a knife in one hand.
What the?
Ashley moves toward Court. Court helplessly throws the cup of water at her, then reaches for the coat rack near the door. He jabs the coat rack at her. She ducks, grabbing it hard out of Court's hands. She stomps hard in the middle. A loud crack. The rack splinters in two.
Shit.
Court darts quickly behind the desk. Ashley moves to the other side, directly opposite. Court moves left. Ashley moves right. Court feints right. Ashley feints left. Court grabs at drawers. Ashley leaps on top of the desk, landing both feet at the same time with a loud thud. She stands over Court. He looks up in disbelief. From behind her back with her right hand, she brings out another knife. She spins the knives. Court grabs the edge of his desktop protector pad with both hands. He yanks hard, snatching the pad from under her feet. Ashley falls backward off the desk, landing firmly on her back, knocking the wind out of her. Court tips his heavy oak desk on top of her, trapping her beneath it. It topples with a crash. He grabs his briefcase, throws open his office door, and dashes into the waiting room. Above him, a security camera. Interior, D's computer, day. A man, D, large dark glasses, sits at a computer keyboard, viewing the scene in the waiting room via the ceiling security camera. The image of the waiting room streams from his glasses as a holographic image in front of him. Interior, Court's waiting room, day. Court rushes toward the glass doors that open onto the hallway. Interior, Court's office, day. Ashley struggles to emerge from underneath the desk. Interior, hallway, day. Court bursts into the hallway. Interior, D's computer, day. D watches Court through the security camera. Court frantically glances left, then right. D types in a few more keystrokes.
Here, kitty, kitty.
Interior, hallway, day. The exit sign above the stairwell door down the hall begins to flash. Court heads to it and bursts into the stairwell. Interior, stairwell, day. Court descends the stairs, 2 or 3 at a time. Interior, Court's office, day. Ashley frees herself from the desk and moves to the hallway. Interior, hallway, day. She scans the hallway, then brings her hand up to her earbud.
He's in one of the stairwells.
I'm on him.
Interior, stairwell, day. Court arrives at the 3rd floor landing. He starts his next descent. Detective Kronka appears at the bottom of the flight with a pistol, a silencer on the end of it.
Detective, thank God, that girl.
Kronka raises the pistol towards Court. Interior, D's computer, day.
Uh-oh.
D quickly types a few more keystrokes. Interior, stairwell, day. The lights in the stairwell flicker, just as Kronka fires. Court reacts, holding his briefcase in front of his face. 2 shots, puffed, puffed, strike the briefcase where Court's face would have been. He is driven backward by the force, falling onto his back. The briefcase covers his face. Gray smoke gently rises from the 2 black bullet holes. Interior, D's computer, day.
Houston, we might have a problem.
Interior, stairwell, day. Kronka ascends the stairs. He straddles Court's motionless body. He slides the briefcase down to reveal Court's face. Close on Court, suddenly opening his eyes. A kick to Kronka's stomach launches the would-be assassin backwards down the flight of stairs, slamming against the concrete steps. His body rolls to a stop at the bottom of the stairwell, an unconscious heap. Interior, D's computer, day.
There you go. We're back in business.
Interior, stairwell, day. Court's watch dings. Panicked, he turns it off. It goes off again. Court reaches to turn it off again. A holographic message emitting from his watch. Grab the gun and exit the stairwell to the 2nd floor. He's totally confused. What? How? Who is watching this? Looking around, he pauses. Again, the watch dings. Hurry! Court makes his way down the stairs past where Kronk is lying, grabs the gun, and races down the flight of stairs to the second floor. Interior, second floor hallway, day. As Court enters the hallway, his phone rings. He answers.
Who the hell is this?
He's right behind you, move.
Where? Who are...
You have to trust me. End of the hall. Now, take a left.
Court hesitates, not sure what to do. He hears the door to an upper stairwell open and close. He steps back into the stairwell and looks up the center. He can see Ashley coming down.
Shit.
Court sprints down the hallway with the phone to his ear. As he hits the T at the end, he turns right. Interior, D's computer, day.
Left. Left, not right.
Interior, hallway, day.
Crap.
Court stumbles to a stop. He turns back to the left. As he crosses past the hallway he just came from, he glances down it. Ashley has just bolted through the stairwell door. He pulls his eyes away and looks down the left hallway where the voice on the phone told him to go. 15 feet in front of him stands a hulk of a man. This is Brew, 6'5", ripped, in jeans, army boots, and t-shirt, the veins in his arms popping like a New York subway map. Court stops dead in his tracks. He whips his head to look back down the hall. Ashley's racing toward him, then back at the hulk in front of him.
Good day, Dr. Courtney. If you would please proceed through the door behind me at the end of the hall here, I'll take care of this.
What?
Like a restaurant maitre d', Brew politely gestures behind him toward the door leading to the stairwell.
Please, Doctor. Now would be a good time.
Court sees that Ashley is only about 10 yards away. Brew grabs Court, pushing him behind him. Brew steps forward to the corner, still concealing himself from Ashley's view. Ashley rounds the corner. Brew extends his tree trunk of an arm, clotheslining Ashley. She goes down hard. Court stumbles back helplessly against the door jamb. Brew nonchalantly smiles and approaches Court. An effortless ninja-style kick-up, springing directly from her back to her feet. Ashley's not done. Brew whirls to see her sprinting directly at him. She slides around his legs on the slick linoleum floor. From behind, she stands and then kicks the back of Brew's leg, taking him down to one knee. She mounts his shoulders, wraps her legs around his neck, tumbles forward, bringing Brew along with her. Brew is now on his back, and she is on top of him. She grabs a knife from behind her back and plunges it towards Brew's left eye socket. Brew blocks the knife, a short right hook. Stunned, Ashley falls off to the side, dropping her knife. Brew stands, towering over her. He bends down, grabs her by the throat, and lifts her from the floor to his eye level. He extends both arms fully. Her head crashes up through the tiles into the false ceiling above. Brew looks back at Court. Court holds the pistol in both hands, pointing it at Brew.
D, why does the dog have a gun?
Interior, D's computer, day.
I don't know why.
Interior, hallway, day.
Because he's pointing one at me right now.
Brew lowers Ashley from the ceiling to eye level. She looks desperate, suffocating, almost unconscious. She pleads with her eyes for Brew to let her go. He tosses her aside like a rag doll. Ashley lands in a heap in the middle of the hall. Court aims the gun at her and then nervously back at Brew.
It's okay, Doc.
Brew has his hands on his chest.
Good guys.
Brew motions to Ashley on the floor.
Bad guys. It's okay.
Court's hands shake as Brew slowly approaches. Brew gently takes the gun from Court and tucks it into his belt. Brew grabs Court and shoves him into the stairwell. Interior, stairwell, day. Brew guides Court down the stairs.
D, why did the dog have a gun?
Silence.
D?
Interior, D's computer, day.
Okay, I was just thinking, you know, in the movies when the good guy knocks the bad guy out and the gun is just laying there, everyone's thinking, pick up the gun, you moron, but he doesn't. Then later on in the fight, the bad guy is off with a broomstick out of something because he didn't.
Interior, stairwell, day. Brew continues to usher Court down the stairs.
Shut up, D. I was just... Shut up. Don't speak.
Interior, D's computer, day. D hits the mute button on his computer screen.
Sure, then everyone at the end's like, why didn't he pick up the gun? Why didn't he just pick up the gun?
Interior, parking garage, day. The parking garage door bursts open. Brew is behind Court. A late model sedan pulls up. The passenger door flies open. Rachel Johnson is driving.
Get in.
Brew shoves Court into the front passenger seat and slams the door shut. He gets into the back seat behind Court. Rachel peels out, headed for the exit. Exterior, city street, day. The car jets through the exit bar barrier and out onto the busy city street. Several cars come to a screeching halt. Interior, garage, day. Ashley appears in the stairwell doorway of the garage. She takes her phone out of her pocket and dials. Interior, office, day. There's a man with a phone, close on his mouth as he talks.
Speak.
We lost them.
The man clicks his tongue and twitches, like he has a tic.
Bring in the Spaniard.
Exterior, garage, day.
Yes, sir.
Silence. A click. Ashley puts her phone in her pocket. Interior, office, day. The man takes the phone down from his ear, his face obscured. From behind, we see a computer screen. On the screen is Rachel's picture. At the top, the caption, Rachel Johnson, variant leader. Exterior, Rachel's car, day. The car speeds down the city street. Court is scrunched down in the seat.
I'm really sorry about this, Doctor. I'm really, really sorry.
You're sorry, I almost...
He's cut off as Brew drapes a black hood over his head and quickly injects his shoulder. Court yelps, then slumps down across the seats.
He's not gonna be happy.
Exterior, bullfighting arena, day. From behind, a man sits in an outdoor coliseum. His long black hair is pulled into a ponytail. This is the Spaniard. To his left, a beautiful young woman, her hand on his thigh. To his right, a handsome young man, obviously a trio. They're watching a bullfight. The spectacle is in the second stage, the Tercio de Banderillas. The matador quickly circles the bull. Rising, stretching his arms high above his head, the matador drives the banderillas into the meaty back of the bull. The crowd applauds and screams its approval. The young woman moves her hand up his thigh and squeezes, a look of pleasure on her face. The young man moves closer. The matador basks in his success, sword and cape in hand now. Weakened, the beast charges. The matador gracefully evades. Again. He twirls, toying with the monster in front of him. A thrust. The matador buries the blade deep into the animal. The crowd roars. The beautiful woman leans in, whispering in the Spaniard's ear. The trio rises and exits their seats. The bull is exhausted, lying in the dirt, bleeding out. Slowly zoom in all the way to the bull's eye. Closer. Its pupil. Closer. Closer. Interior, warehouse headquarters, night. Slowly zoom out of an eye. Court's eye. He sits up slowly, putting his feet on the floor. A very large warehouse. Windows line the top of the building. On the floor, several large tables are set end to end in a semicircle. We see computers and equipment, papers and documents, a large cache of firearms and explosive ordnance. Whiteboards hold maps and handwritten logistics. A Humvee, van, and a military helicopter are parked inside. 2 mobile homes sit inside, against a wall of the warehouse. Next to them, a large medical tent. Rachel is standing across from Court.
How do you feel?
Like shit. My head's killing me. Where the hell am I?
We can fix that. Sorry about the hood and everything. We have to be careful until we know.
Know what?
Whether we can trust you.
Trust me? You fucking kidnapped me.
We saved you, remember?
Court slowly scans the room, eyeing the people around him.
That's Brew.
Brew has his arms crossed and simply nods.
Yeah, we've met.
Over there.
Gesturing with her head.
That's D.
D turns around, still wearing his large holographic computer goggles, and lifts them from his face.
Hey, Doc.
Dwight?
Yeah. Everyone just calls me D.
What are you doing here?
We'll get to that. I think you know these guys.
Rachel motions to the men standing next to her.
Marcus?
Marcus, mid-30s, weathered, scar on his right cheek, nods.
Patient 12, Doc. How you been?
The man next to Marcus removes his sunglasses.
Silas?
Silas, early 30s, slender build, aviators, smiles.
16. Oh, I might need to cancel my next session next week.
Taka, early 30s, Asian, sharp defined features, waves to Court and flashes 2 fingers twice, mouthing 22.
Wait. These guys are my patients. And O'Malley, he's...
A good cop. One of the good guys, I might add. Kronka is a scumbag.
And that's Reefer.
Reefer, late 30s, top-knot beard, kicked back in a chair.
We haven't met. I'm Reef.
Well, very nice to meet you. Now, can someone tell me what the fuck is going on?
Lily, 8, cute, thin, exhausted, appears next to Rachel.
Mom?
Rachel is surprised by her presence. She turns, putting her arm around her.
Sweetie?
I'm hungry.
Okay, sweetie, I'll be there. Can you go back in, give Mommy a minute?
I gotta reach.
Lily nods, looks suspiciously at Court. She turns and jumps into Marcus's arms. Marcus gives her a tickle. Lily laughs.
Uncle Marcus, stop!
Look, please, what is going on here?
He fumbles in his pocket, pulls out the note from Rachel.
This note you gave me at the lecture? Why are people trying to kill me?
Doctor, what you've been able to accomplish with H.C.A.T is frankly incredible. But certainly you must have wondered why we have these past lives. Brew has had 6, Psy 2, Dwight...
Yes, Silas 2, Dwight 3, I know.
Of course.
Rachel turns to Dee.
Show him.
Are you sure? We're taking a chance.
Bring it up. What I'm about to show you, Doctor, is going to be difficult for you to believe, but I need you to keep an open mind. It will challenge everything you know, or think you know, to be true about who you are, your life, this world.
Dee types quickly on his keyboard. Computer code streams across the computer screen until he punches a key and the words expansive, artificial, rehabilitative, time habitat appear on the screen.
We're in.
The first letter of each individual word then pulls forward to form the acronym Earth. Interior, the Spaniard's domicile, night. The Spaniard throws the covers off his body. He's naked. He gets out of bed and slips on a silk robe. He looks back over his shoulder to see the woman and young man still asleep in bed, also naked. He reaches into the pocket of his robe and pulls out a cigarillo. He lights it and walks casually over to a desk. His computer screen is blinking, indicating a message. He types in a code. A program deciphers the message. The subject reads, Level 3 Security Protocol, engage. There's a picture of Court. The Spaniard's eyes are scanning. He's reading. He hits delete, walks to a set of French doors, pushes them open. A large balcony overlooking a beautiful, picturesque landscape appears. A sunset. He takes a pull off his cigarillo, exhaling gently. We watch the smoke gently swirl. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night.
What do you mean, a construct?
Earth isn't just some biological accident. It's a gigantic, complex construct, designed with purpose. And that purpose is time.
Time?
Yes. As you know, there are multiple dimensions. Some believe as many as 10. The first 3 are length, height, and depth. The 4th is the position of a third-dimensional object in time.
Graphics illustrate her words on Dee's screen.
On Earth, time is linear. We move forward like dominoes, knocking down the minutes and seconds one at a time. But when you take our bodies away, only consciousness remains. You've proved that they survived after our physical structures are gone, in a dimension in which time doesn't exist. So, if you want to capture a consciousness or confine it, you need a vessel, a physical construct.
Rachel points at the computer logo, Earth.
Why would you want to trap a consciousness?
All consciousness is derived from a massive single conscious entity, a collective. Some people refer to it as heaven. Our individual consciousnesses, or souls, are the essence of our being, who we are. Some are good, and some are not, as represented by the world around us. But you can't destroy a consciousness or a soul, because it's...
Energy.
Correct. But it can be confined, and then transformed, redeemed, reborn, rehabilitated even.
Rehabilitated? What, like a prison?
Not a bad analogy, really. A prism is a microcosm of our world. We separate by race, language, religion, political affiliations, hierarchies of control and influence. There are guards making sure we don't break the rules, and punishments when we do.
Okay. Right, sure, a prison. It's so obvious, I can't believe I didn't see it.
Court glances over at Brew. Brew gives him an angry scowl. Court drops his head.
Shit, don't drop the soap. Okay, look. Let's just say for argument's sake that I believe you, but then why are we here, separated from this so-called collective?
Well, that's the question man has been trying to answer from the beginning of time. Why are we here?
Rachel approaches Court and slaps him hard on the face. He's shocked. Before he can say anything, she straddles him. Caressing his face, she bends down and kisses him, a long, deep kiss. Court starts to resist, then quickly relents. Longer, deeper. She slowly stops kissing him.
Can't get that in heaven, can you, Doc?
Jesus, what the...
Thought that does not cease to exist in the collective, and thought is infinite in its desire to grasp what it cannot possess. Touch, smell, taste. Earth was constructed for that purpose. We want to know the physical.
She seductively puts her finger on his lips, then stands abruptly and continues in a matter-of-fact manner.
However, once here, we become contaminated by certain elements of this world. Greed, ego, lust. Elements not suited for the collective. A unified, selfless entity. We must cleanse ourselves of those undesirable elements before reconnecting. But we only have so many lives to do it. When they are over, we're either back in the collective or spend the rest of eternity bouncing around the universe alone. At least until now.
Until now? I don't understand. Constructs, collectives? What does any of this have to do with me?
Everything. Bring up your file, D.
D types his name and then a 12-digit alphanumeric code. Dwight's picture appears with information about him. At the top of the page, the title, Discordancies. Inside that box are the words avidity and salaciousness. Below that, a box with the heading Rehabilitation Term. Within that box are the words 6 lives.
What's all this?
This is what keeps you in those nice Italian-made shoes and that nice office of yours. D, bring up your lives.
D clicks on 6 lives. A list of dates and names appears. 2120 to 2210, future. 2053 to 2120, future. 1997 to 2052, current, Dwight Langley. 1947 to 1968, past, David Smith. 1888 to 1946, past, Douglas Bryan. 1853 to 1887, past, Devereaux Lee Johnson.
Are those dates what I think they are?
Those are his past, present, and future lives. Beginning and end for each one. I think you probably recognize the last one on the list.
Dwight clicks on Devereaux Lee Johnson. A cowboy appears.
The mineshaft.
D just smiles.
Bring up your current term.
D clicks on Dwight Langley, and then detail. Instantly, page after page of information populates the screen. His entire life broken down day by day.
What? Unbelievable.
Total mindfuck, right, Doc?
See these time blocks out in the future, here and here?
Rachel points at the screen.
They're called actualizations. They're like guideposts, rehabilitative milestones that we must cross in order to move closer back to the collective. The person you should marry, the job you should take, the friend you should help, they can be altered or edited, but only via direct route access.
Oh, look. I'm supposed to marry someone. Named Marcia Conley.
I would have guessed Frank Conley.
Silas turns to Reefer.
Love you, Frank.
Love you too, honey.
Did you change your hair?
Why, yes. You noticed.
Guys, please.
Rachel just shakes her head at their juvenile remarks. Court doesn't seem to notice, engrossed in what's in front of him.
Can you go back a page?
D returns to the original page.
What are the gaps in between the lives? For example, died 1968, next life 1997?
They have to do with an unexpected interruption in the life. Some lives go full term, but others do not.
Unexpected?
There is an error in the system, tolerance. Call it flex or free will. Think of it like a 100-story building or a mile-long expansion bridge. It must be allowed to move for the overall structure to remain intact.
But the flex must have its limits. Who sets the limits in these actualizations?
There is a controller, the keeper. He has always been intersecting many of our lives through the centuries. He controls much of what happens in our lives.
H.C.A.T is throwing a wrench into the whole works, Doc. By transferring attributes between consciousnesses, you're rerouting milestones, resetting paths, usurping free will. You're messing in the keeper's sandbox, and he doesn't like it.
Taka walks up and places several of the partial facial drawings from Court's briefcase onto a small table next to the cot. Rachel puts her finger on the drawings.
The keeper's coming for you.
unless we can figure out who he is and get to him first.
Yeah, well, he's not the only one.
Court drops Agent Tibideaux's card on the table.
We should break this connection now.
Rachel nods. Dee closes the program. Rachel grabs the card and examines it.
When did this happen?
Early this morning?
Rachel hands Marcus the card. They exchange a concerned look.
This complicates things.
Really? It can get more complicated? I need to lie down. My head.
Reefer hands Court some pills and a glass of water.
Take these. Total chill.
Court looks at Reefer doubtfully.
It's okay, Doctor. Just something for your head. You should rest. Take some time to process. We'll talk later.
She motions to Brew to show him to one of the trailers.
Keep an eye on him.
Interior, Agent Tibideaux's office. Day. Tibideaux is sitting at his desk, working. Reading glasses at the end of his nose. A young agent, mid-20s, walks in.
We got a hit, boss. On the grid.
Tibideaux looks up. The young agent drops a file on his desk.
Where?
De Gaulle, 6 hours ago.
Tibideaux opens the file. Name at the top, Ramon Francisco Castillo. Below that, a.k.a. the Spaniard, El Matador, the Pirateer. A long list of crimes and international espionage. A picture of a man in a hat, sunglasses, sideburns, goatee. Another picture of a man or woman, it's hard to tell, dressed in slacks, a blouse, floppy hat, scarf.
SOB's got more faces than Arya Stark.
Excuse me, who, sir?
Tibideaux looks up over his glasses, a little surprised.
Never mind, son. Before your time. Where's he headed?
Most likely Mexico City.
Let the boys down at Border Control know.
What about you-know-who?
You let me worry about that.
Concerned, Tibideaux tosses his glasses onto his desk. Interior, Warehouse HQ, day. The door to the trailer swings open. Court's in the doorway. Looking out, he notices a table with a soft drink and coffee station on it. He walks over and pours himself a cup. At the far end of the building, Reefer and Taka are sparring. Hands and feet fly left and right, pulling no punches. Taka puts a back kick into Reefer's midsection, forcing him onto the ropes, doubled over.
Are you okay, sweetie?
You learned that in dance school?
Reefer clears the snot out of one side of his nose and taps himself on the side of the head.
Come on.
Just to the side of the ring, Brew curls what appears to be a ridiculous amount of weight, his biceps rippling. Lily's on the floor by one of the trailers, drawing, crayons spread out on the floor. Marcus is there watching. Court walks over, nods to Marcus, and then kneels down.
Hi. What you doing?
Drawing.
In the middle of the page is a little girl stick figure wearing a dress. The hair is shaped like an omega symbol. Above her, a blue sky. Surrounding her, in a circle, several other figures. Lines from each figure connect to the girl in the middle. Court points to the one in the middle.
Who's that?
That's me.
Court points to one of the other figures, bigger than the others.
And this one?
That's Brew.
Court points to a figure wearing sunglasses.
I bet that's Silas.
Duh.
Rachel interrupts their conversation.
Doctor, can I borrow you for a second?
Sure.
Let's take a walk. You slept well?
That was definitely more than aspirin.
One of Ruth's special remedies.
She's a beautiful little girl.
Thank you.
If you don't mind me asking, how long has she...
Been sick? About 2 years. Cancer.
Sorry to hear that. An unexpected interruption?
Yes, but we believe if we can insert or edit an actualization earlier in her life, before the cancer, a reset will be activated.
She'll be cured?
We're hoping.
And Marcus, he's your...
Brother? Might as well be. We were foster kids in the system together. Lived in the same home for years.
Rachel looks back over to where Marcus is playing with Lily.
We all felt like brothers and sisters.
I've been working with Marcus for a little while now. His childhood was so traumatic. It's been very difficult to get further back than that.
We were in a bad situation.
Were you the little girl he was protecting?
Yes. He'd take the beatings night after night. He wouldn't let that sick fuck touch me. One night, the bastard beat him within an inch of his life. We ran away after that. Lived on the streets for a while. We always managed, though.
Rachel and Court look at Marcus. Marcus sticks his tongue out at them. Rachel chuckles.
So tell me, this group is...
The people saving your ass.
Right, but...
To the Keeper, we are called variants. Those consciousnesses. and now physical beings that have become aware of what Earth really is. Most of these guys are ex-military, served with Marcus, and most have PTSD issues, which is why they started coming to you in the first place.
Well, let's just say war can make a lasting and indelible impression on an individual's psyche.
That, Doctor, is an understatement with these guys.
Rachel and Court glance back over where Taka and Reef are sparring relentlessly. Bru's lifting so much weight the bar is starting to bend. Bru drops the weights to the floor with a crash. He lets out a very loud grunt.
Bru's been with us the longest. He's got weapons and munitions. Marcus and Taka, tactical. Silas handles air support.
O'Malley?
Ground support and engineering. If it has gears or an engine, he can fix it. Reefer handles acquisition, anything legal, illegal, or otherwise considered questionable. Very proficient. I handle medical and try to keep these idiots from killing each other.
So, you're a doctor?
Was. I finished my residency and was 3 years into my practice when Lily got sick. I had to make a choice.
I see. Completely understandable. So, let me ask you a question. How much do you know, how do you know so much about the construct and this keeper?
A long time ago, someone I was close to tried to convince me the construct existed. I didn't believe them. It just seemed so...
Impossible?
Yeah. Then I saw it. It was... incredible. Our lives, so much of it controlled and set before us. No coincidences. Everything made sense. Why we have past lives, what Earth is really for. I had so many questions, but then they disappeared before I could find out who the Keeper was.
So, the Keeper's the key to everything. To your little girl.
I know it's hard to fathom. I laid a lot on you earlier, but yes.
And if I say no?
You're free to leave, but honestly, you won't last long. If the Keeper doesn't get you, Tibideaux will.
Well, that's not much of a choice.
Court contemplates, runs his hand through his hair. A sigh of resignation.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but... Okay. So, how are we going to find this Keeper?
I have a few ideas.
Interior Warehouse HQ, day. The group is assembled around a table.
D, what do we have?
D excavates Court's briefcase.
Files for patients 6, 7, and 13, 2 vials of H.C.A.T, small box.
D holds up a small black box the size of a deck of cards.
Easy with that.
Court takes it. Dwight holds up Court's laptop, displaying the 2 bullet holes in the top corner.
Not getting anything off of this.
Robert, in order to construct a complete picture of the Keeper, we're going to need all of your patients' drawings and files, as well as your H.C.A.T protocols and serums. Where are your backups?
In a safe in a secure archive room. 24th floor. It's retinal recognition.
We're going to need a decoy.
Leave that to me, Mr. Miyagi over there.
Taka bows his respect and consent.
I'm honored, Daniel-san.
Wax on, wax off, motherfucker.
One if, since the last time I accessed the grid, they've changed the security program. I'll need direct plug and play to disable the elevator. No problem.
What about the guards?
Oh, never fear. I hacked the personal files and schedule for the company handling security, and it's somebody's birthday.
D pops up a picture of a middle-aged, balding man from the chest up. He's wearing a jacket with a security badge on it. Rachel cocks her head to one side and gives Bru a sly smile.
What? No. That was a one-time deal.
Interior Warehouse HQ, night. Bru lies on one of the cots with electrodes attached to his head. Wires from the electrodes run back to a small black box and then to a desktop computer. Marcus, Taka, and Reefer watch as Court hands Bru the Atatran.
Drink the whole thing.
Bru gulps the liquid down.
Okay, Bru. You're relaxed, breathing nice and easy. You're drifting back further and further. You're floating.
A long beat. Bru appears to be in a sleep state.
How do you feel, Bru?
Great. Really great.
That's good, Bru. I'm looking for Alex. Is Alex there?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Interior Bru's vision, night. The stiletto-heeled shoes walk gracefully across the carpet. Subwoofers pound out a steady beat. From the back, a perfectly formed ass in a tight-fitting black mini-dress. Heads of the many male patrons turn as she walks by. The seductress stops in front of one particular patron. She reaches down, touching his arm. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Brew smiles. Marcus watches on the computer screen.
What's that, Doc?
Gamma frequencies. Patterns of neural oscillation in humans between 25 and 100 hertz. The black box detects them at the subhertz levels.
Like microhertz?
Further than that, with Adatran, we can break it down to the nanohertz level. We can see things we've never seen before.
The screen displays an array of colors and waveforms.
What else do you see or hear?
Music, I hear music.
Interior, Brew's vision, night. Music and lights are pulsating, neon glowing everywhere. The seductress is leaning over him, her breasts tucked tightly in her dress near his face. The patron puts his hand on her thigh. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Court points at the screen as a waveform bounces up and out of the other forms, glowing bright red.
See there? The Adatran pinpoints the attribute, and then opens the consciousness to allow for the transfer, an imprint.
Whoa. I've only read about this.
That's excellent. Brew, I need you to remember the music, okay?
Brew nods his head in agreement.
I also need you to keep Alex with you, Brew. And the thing that makes Alex special. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
You know what that is, Brew?
Oh, yeah.
Interior, Brew's vision, night. The vixen pulls the clip out of her hair and lets it drop onto the patron's face. The man raises his face, engulfing himself in her perfume. He's excited now, the muscles in his forearms tense. Self-control is starting to elude him. She stands and turns with her back to him, moving her hips seductively, raising her skirt further up her thigh. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Court types on his computer. He clicks on lock and then replicate, and then finally, imprint. Brew twitches.
Brew, when I snap my fingers, you'll wake up. You'll feel very rested, like you just had a good sleep. Okay, Brew?
Uh-huh.
3, 2, 1, and...
Court snaps his fingers. Brew opens his eyes and stretches.
Oh, that was good.
Court puts his hand on Brew's shoulder.
Good. Good.
Court gets up and motions for Rachel and Taka to follow him, just far enough away that Brew can't hear them.
You're clear on the trigger? As soon as it starts, the attribute will manifest.
Copy that, Doc. How long will it last?
Hard to say. Oral dosage doesn't last as long. I gave him a full dose. Given the time between now and go time, you'll need to give him another.
How do I bring Brew back out of it?
With most patients, it should wear off after about 15 minutes. If it doesn't, say Alex is done now. I need Brew. In 3, 2, 1, then snap your fingers. Simple as that.
Court snaps his fingers. Exterior office building, night. O'Malley drives a flower delivery service van with Taka in the driver's seat. Brew and Dwight sit in the cargo area. Dwight has a laptop open on his lap. O'Malley pulls the van to the curb outside the front doors. Taka pulls a vial from the chest pocket of his jacket.
Doctor's orders.
Brew takes the vial, pops the small rubber stopper, and swallows the contents without hesitation.
Not bad, really.
Taka reaches into the back. Dwight hands him a thumb drive.
Any USB port will work.
Taka gives a quick nod. He jumps out at the driver's side and walks around to the sliding door of the van. Sliding it open, Taka pulls out a very large bouquet of flowers in a large pot with several glossy balloons attached. Brew exits the back, holding what appears to be a large box of roses and a boombox propped on his right shoulder. He slams the back door.
Ishmael to Captain Ahab, over. Captain Ahab, over. Moby Dick, I repeat, Moby Dick.
The van takes off. Exterior Court's office building, night. A military helicopter whirs into view. Interior military helicopter, night. Silas is piloting. Rachel is in the back with Court and Marcus. She has to yell to be heard.
Brew and Taka have engaged. They'll keep them occupied while you guys make your entry.
I don't know. I don't think...
It's the only way.
You said that, but...
You're in good hands.
Just like we practiced, Doc, okay? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Rope goes out, latch on, I'll pull you over.
You'll have 6 or 7 minutes. Brew and Taka can't hold them off much longer.
Got it.
Rachel and Marcus clap their hands together in a handshake.
20 seconds.
Court looks like he's about to throw up. Marcus grabs a large harpoon gun secured to the inside of the chopper. He slides the side door of the helicopter open. Interior Warehouse HQ, day. Brew and Taka walk to the front door and knock on the glass. Sitting behind the desk is Peterson, a slightly overweight, middle-aged security guard. the one from the picture. To his right, guard 1 stands watch. Guard 2 stands in front of the elevators to the left and behind the desk. Guard 1 approaches the doors, waving his hands side to side.
Sorry, guys. You'll have to come back tomorrow. No entry after 6 p.m.
We have a gift for Mr. Peterson. Please, please.
Guard 1 looks back at Peterson, then back at Taka, who raises the flowers up and down, smiling.
Birthday present. Surprise. From a wife.
Peterson stands up from his chair.
What's going on?
Someone out here with a birthday present for you or something.
Really?
Peterson walks up beside Guard 1.
I didn't know it was your birthday.
Peterson shrugs his shoulders and half smiles. Taka raises the flowers and balloons again and smiles.
Oh, yeah, birthday.
The guards look at each other.
It is my birthday.
Peterson opens the door.
We have a special gift for Mr. Peterson. You, Mr. Peterson.
Yeah, I'm Peterson, but
Okay, good. Please.
Brew grabs one of the lobby chairs and sets it right behind Peterson. Taka moves him back gently. Peterson stumbles, falling backward into the chair. Brew sets the box of roses and the large boombox on the floor and faces Peterson. Taka smiles shyly and hits play, sending the sounds of the Commodore's brick house throughout the lobby. Brew immediately starts moving to the beat, hips shaking back and forth in rhythm as the sound of the music has triggered Alex's dancing attribute to emerge. Off to the side, Taka claps his hands to the beat. The other 2 guards start to chuckle. Peterson tries to get up, but Brew puts his size 15 boot on him and pushes him back down into the chair. Throwing his head back and forth, spinning and moving sensually, Brew slides his hands down his thighs. With one swift motion, Brew yanks off his Velcro pants. He grinds in front of the guard in bikini-style briefs and army boots from the waist down. Guard 2 by the elevator has moved next to Guard 1 to get a better view. Both are cracking up. Brew begins to twerk in front of Peterson. Enjoying the routine a little too much, he slaps Brew hard on the ass.
Oh!
They don't notice that Taka has moved behind them.
No touchy, please.
Taka stabs each in the neck with a syringe, dropping them unconscious to the floor. Peterson is so enthralled that he doesn't notice what just happened behind him. The music stops. Taka holds a pistol to Peterson's head.
Easy there, big fella. Easy.
Peterson slowly holds up his hands. Brew stops dancing and looks at Taka.
Woo!
Alex is done. I need Brew in 1, 2, 3.
Taka snaps his fingers, but Brew doesn't emerge. He attempts to snap Brew back one more time.
Alex is done now. I need Brew in 1, 2, 3.
Taka snaps his fingers. Again, nothing happens.
Oh, shit.
What?
Go over there by the desk.
Brew picks up the box of roses and boombox, stepping daintily around the unconscious guards.
There, right over there. Don't move anything.
Taka grabs Peterson by the shoulder. Pulling him out of the chair, he guides him to the computer behind the desk. Taka pulls a small thumb drive from his pocket.
Plug this in and open the file.
Taka pushes the gun hard into the back of Peterson's head.
Now.
Peterson nervously logs into the system. He shakily plugs in the thumb drive.
Click on that file right there.
Peterson opens the file. The screen blinks and then goes back to its normal desktop view.
Are you in?
I'm in.
Taka stabs Peterson in the neck with another small syringe, knocking him unconscious.
South stairwell.
Opening now.
With a loud click, the stairwell door unlocks and opens.
Take care of that elevator.
Interior van, night. Dwight makes several keystrokes on his computer, remotely closing the elevator and moving it up to the 7th floor.
10-4. Up we go. Where it stops, nobody knows.
He disables it. Interior stairwell, night. Taka grabs Brew and hustles him into the stairwell and up 2 flights of stairs to the 2nd floor landing. Now desperate to get Brew back, Taka starts a more aggressive method of recovery.
Brew! Come on, buddy.
Taka slaps him in the face. Brew looks at Taka, surprised. A frown. Brew starts to tear up.
Oh my god.
Interior van, night. D views the lobby from the security cameras.
Guys, you got company.
Interior stairwell, night.
Already? How many?
Interior van, night.
10 well-armed men plus Little Miss Ninja, and who the fuck is that?
Interior stairwell, night.
Who? Come again?
Interior van, night. As Dee views the scene in the lobby, the Spaniard walks through the door, wearing tight black pants, pointed black boots with silver tips, and a loose-fitting white blouse. His long black hair is pulled back in a ponytail. Accessorizing his usual androgynous look, necklaces dangle from around his neck. Bracelets run up his right wrist, and he sports a lovely Gucci shoulder-hung man purse. Slung across his back is a Benelli M4 auto shotgun. He looks like something out of a bad Pirates of the Caribbean movie. He crosses to each of the unconscious guards and bends down to survey their condition. He rises and nonchalantly nods to one of the subordinate armed men. The armed man shoots all of the guards dead.
Oh, shit! Well, you gotta move, Taka. Hey, you gotta move now.
Interior stairwell, night.
Listen, big guy. I'm sorry about this.
Taka throws a hard jab at Brew's nose. Just before it lands, Brew reaches up and grabs the fist.
Brew? Buddy?
Brew looks down, surveying his mostly naked lower half, and then back up at Taka.
Where the fuck are my pants?
Interior van, night.
Guys?
Interior stairwell, night. The stairwell door blasts inward. The concussion surprises Taka and Brew. Taka motions Brew to the third-floor landing.
Up.
Taka grabs a smoke grenade and drops it behind him. At the third-floor landing, Brew rips open the box of roses, revealing 2 AR-15s and tossing one to Taka. From inside their jackets, each pulls a pistol. Taka dumps the bouquet of flowers, revealing grenades, flashbangs, and smoke canisters. He hands some to Brew.
You ready?
Brew looks down at his lower extremities.
It was Reef's idea.
Brew shakes his head in frustration.
Let's do this.
Okay, you get the north stairwell. I got this one. We hold the 4th floor as long as we can. Then we bail. No hero bullshit.
Brew nods. He frowns at his bare legs.
Superman wears tights, asshole.
Shots ring out from below, ricocheting around Taka and Brew. Taka returns fire. Brew races up the stairs to the 4th floor. He crashes into the hallway, headed for the north stairwell. Interior military helicopter, night. The helicopter hovers outside the 24th floor archives. Marcus aims the large harpoon gun toward the windows. He pulls the trigger. The large spike sails through the air, trailing a steel cable. Interior office building, night. The outer glass shatters as the metal spike flies through the length of the office, piercing the inner office wall and the parallel wall on the other side of the hallway with a thud. 4 large spikes pop out from the sides like talons, digging into the wall structure, creating a makeshift 30-yard-long zip line from the helicopter to the office. Interior helicopter, night. Marcus cranks up the slack in the cable via a large spring mechanism and pulls a lever to knock it down.
Here we go. Keep this bitch steady.
Exterior office building, night. Marcus reaches up and hooks his lanyard onto the cable. He steps onto the skids. He pulls himself across the cable, trailing a draw-line rope Rachel holds in the helicopter. Traversing the distance in seconds, Marcus arrives at the office, unhooks, and gives Rachel the thumbs up. Exterior helicopter, night. Rachel hooks Court to the cable, then attaches the other end of the draw-line rope to Court's safety harness.
Okay, Robert, hold on. Marcus will pull you across. Don't look down.
Scared shitless, Court steps out onto the skid. One of his feet slips off, but he catches himself. Rachel reaches up and grabs onto the cable firmly.
Don't worry, you're safe.
6 minutes.
Court nods his head, takes a deep breath. Hanging onto the cable for dear life, he steps off the helicopter skid. Marcus slowly pulls him across with the draw line. Court's terrified, grasping onto the zip line for dear life. He looks down, 200 feet below.
Easy peasy lemon. Fuck me.
Interior office, night. Marcus pulls Court in and unhooks him from the cable. Marcus looks at Rachel. She flashes him 5 fingers. Interior hallway, night. Brew bolts full speed through a maze of hallways to the north stairwell. He opens the door slowly. Interior north stairwell, night. Brew steps out onto the landing. He scans the flights below. Seeing the armed men fast ascending, he lets out a burst from his AR-15, hitting at least one before they return fire, sending Brew back against the wall for cover. Bottom of stairwell. Entering the stairwell, the Spaniard pulls out a small device the size of a baseball with a flat bottom on one end from his man purse. He presses a button and sets it carefully on the floor. A set of very small helicopter blades pop out of the top and start to whir.
Stop shooting, Panteos. Step down.
The men at the bottom cease fire and hold their positions, except for one of them, who fires a few extra shots up the stairwell. One of the bullets ricochets back and rips through the loose-fitting blouse the Spaniard is wearing, missing the Spaniard's arm but tearing a hole through the baggy material. The Spaniard looks at the hole and then at the armed man.
Estúpido! Este es Louis Vuitton!
The man shrugs and turns away from the Spaniard.
Fag.
The Spaniard hears him and approaches. He's in his face.
¿Qué? Did you say something? Because I think I heard you say something, yes?
The armed man backs up and shakes his head.
Nope.
Positivo.
The armed man shakes his head again. The Spaniard nods and turns to walk away. As the Spaniard turns, he quickly makes 2 swipes with a small tactical knife at the groin area of the armed man. The man drops his weapon and grabs at the wounds. He slouches down the wall. Blood is pouring as he slowly bleeds out. The Spaniard bends down and looks into the dying man's eyes.
We don't use that word LGBTQ. I and A.
He pats the man gently on the face.
No F.
The Spaniard stands and resumes his work on the small drone. He types a code into his phone, presses the button, and guides the small orb up the middle of the stairwell. 4th floor landing. Leery of the silence, Brew remains alert. Suddenly, up from the center of the stairwell, the drone appears, eye level with Brew. Bottom of stairwell. The Spaniard views Brew on his phone. He presses a button. 4th floor landing. A small red light on the drone comes on with a beep.
Oh, shit.
Brew dives through the 4th floor stairwell door. The device explodes. A fireball blows the door off its hinges. Interior, 4th floor hallway, night. Stunned, Brew crawls down the hallway. Interior, north stairwell, night.
Go get that asshole, ándale.
Footsteps clamber up to the 4th floor. Interior, 4th floor hallway, night. 2 armed men enter the hall, firing. Brew is hit in the shoulder. Blood spatters on the wall. Brew returns fire, hitting both men. He ducks behind the corner of an adjacent hallway for cover. There is an elevator behind him. Interior, 24th floor archives, night.
Where is it?
Over here.
The safe is a 1 foot by 1 foot metal door in the wall with a keypad and a small camera above it. Court removes his glove and types in the code. A red light, indicating the wrong code.
Shit. What?
Court re-enters the code. The red light again.
Damn it.
What's the problem?
I don't know, Captain Ahab. Maybe you Moby Dick the place? Something happened.
Calm down. Try it again.
Court wipes his forehead with his other hand. Slowly and carefully, he types in the code. He hits the enter button. A beat. The light turns green. Court lets out a huge sigh of relief. He puts his right eye in front of the camera. A few seconds. A beep. The door of the safe opens. Inside are several thumb drives and a large batch of Atatran. Grabbing the contents, he carefully places them in a pouch in his vest. He gives Marcus the thumbs up. Interior, van, night. D watches the action. Suddenly, he notices the elevator starting to power up. He types frantically on his keyboard.
Guys, the elevator is moving.
What? Shut the fuck down.
I'm trying. Brew, Taka, do you read? The elevator is...
The connection goes silent, and the screen goes blank.
Someone cut the connection.
Interior, 4th floor hallway, night.
Come again? D?
The elevator behind Brew dings. Brew looks over his shoulder. The doors open. 4 armed men pour out, their guns blazing. Brew bursts through one of the doors across the hall. Interior, office space, night. A large office space with several cubicles.
Taka, do you read?
Interior, 4th floor cafeteria, night.
I'm here.
Taka is crouched behind a permanent stainless steel buffet bar, taking fire. He ducks in and out to fire back.
We just lost our eyes and ears.
Time to bail, brother.
Taka ties off a rappel line to one of the permanent legs bolted to the floor, shoots out the glass windows behind him, then runs full speed out the window. A stray bullet hits the rope tied to the leg, fraying it. Halfway down, the rope breaks. He free falls, landing with a bad ankle twist. He struggles to his feet, disconnects the rope, and hobbles around the corner out of sight. Interior, office space, night. Crouched low, Brew moves along a line of cubicle walls. 3 armed men enter the room. Bullets rip through the material of the cubicles, sending Brew running down the aisle. The men split up. 1 down each aisle, 1 on top of a desk to get a better vantage point. Brew has tucked himself under a long workstation table with copy machines and an auto mailer. Brew rolls out. 2 quick shots. Pop, pop. 2 men down. An armed man opens fire, obliterating the copy machine. Brew scrambles down the main aisle toward the door to the outer hallway. 3 more armed men pour through the door. He dives back underneath the desk. A quick inventory, a grazing wound on his calf, bleeding from his shoulder wound. The armed men are pinching in toward his location now. Brew pops a smoke canister. Heavy smoke fills the room. He backs slowly down the aisle, away from the inner wall. He pulls out a grenade, pops the pin, lets the safety drop. The grenade rolls down the aisle, coming to rest against the wall.
Grenade!
The grenade explodes. Shards of drywall and ceiling tiles go flying. A hole in the wall. With the AR-15 in his left hand and his pistol in his right, Brew runs full speed, crashing through the hole in the wall. Interior hallway, night. Brew tumbles through the hole, coming to rest in a kneeling position. A little red dot appears on his chest. Interior 4th floor hallway, night. The Spaniard stands in front of Brew, his Benelli M4 shotgun trained on him. Brew slowly stands, hands in the air. Ashley casually walks out from behind the Spaniard. Armed men appear directly behind Brew. She puts her hand on the shotgun barrel, guiding it down and off of Brew. She surveys him, bikini briefs and army boots. A sly grin. Brew shrugs. The butt of the gun comes down hard on Brew's head, knocking him unconscious to the floor, face first. The Spaniard has his hand to his earbud.
Hola?
Interior, the keeper's office, night. We see the back of a man's head facing a wall-mount computer screen. He has a phone to his ear.
They're on the 24th floor. Oh, and don't make it easy.
Interior, 4th floor hallway, night.
Si, my pleasure. Leave him, vámonos.
The remaining armed men and the Spaniard move quickly past Brew's unconscious body. Ashley remains behind. She looks down at Brew's semi-naked ass. She smiles and takes out one of her knives. Exterior office building, night. Court hangs above the great abyss, Rachel pulling him across. Interior, 24th floor archives, night. Marcus gives Rachel the hurry up sign. He runs to the door of the office with his weapon drawn and starts firing. Interior helicopter, night. As Court climbs in, Rachel is frantic.
Hurry, get in!
Interior, 24th floor archives, night. Marcus tosses 2 grenades down the hallway. He dashes to the edge of the office and hooks down onto the cable. Exterior office building, night. Marcus is less than halfway to the helicopter. The Spaniard enters the room with 4 other armed men. Marcus pulls his gun and fires. The Spaniard unslings his shotgun in the blink of an eye and returns lead. The slug tears through Marcus's arm, ripping muscle and shattering bone. Marcus screams. His free hand reaches for another gun tucked behind his back. The Spaniard fires again, shredding Marcus's upper thigh, leaving him hanging helplessly on the cable. Interior helicopter, night. Rachel reaches for the AK-47 at her side. The Spaniard wags his finger back and forth. She stops and holds her hands up. Interior 24th floor archives, night. The Spaniard reslings his shotgun. From behind him, an armed man hands him a small bazooka. Interior helicopter, night.
What's going on? I can't move. The cable attached.
Don't fucking do anything! Marcus is still out there!
Interior 24th floor archives, night. The Spaniard slowly unfolds the small bazooka, flipping up the sight, and places the weapon on his shoulder. Interior helicopter, night.
We have to go, now!
Interior 24th floor archives, night. The Spaniard makes a few casual adjustments so the weapon is completely comfortable, then places his finger on the trigger. Interior helicopter, night. Trapped, Rachel glances wildly at the cable release, then at Marcus, and then at the man holding the bazooka. Exterior office building, night. Marcus, bleeding badly, looks back at Rachel and puts his hand on the release of his safety harness.
No, don't!
Rachel is at the edge of the helicopter door, begging him. Marcus, reconciling his fate, looks at Rachel one more time, smiles, nods his head, closes his eyes. He hits the release.
No!
Rachel reaches for him as he falls. Court grabs her. Silas watches in horror. Interior helicopter, night. An agonizing silence comes over everyone in the helicopter. Rachel falls back onto the opposite wall in shock. She slowly reaches up and pulls the cable release. Silas banks the helicopter hard, away from the building. Interior 24th floor archives, night. The Spaniard lowers the weapon. Pulling his sunglasses down to the end of his nose, he looks at Rachel and blows her a kiss. Ashley arrives and surveys the aftermath. Exterior office building, night. Brew bursts out of a ground floor emergency exit. Bloodied and battered, he stumbles towards an empty parking area. Exterior van, night.
There he is.
O'Malley pulls the van up the street near the office building. Dee and O'Malley rush to help Brew into the van and slide the door shut. Brew collapses in exhaustion on the floor.
You're okay, brother. We got you.
Brew closes his eyes and nods. O'Malley puts the van in drive and takes off into the night. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. As the van pulls in, Court, Silas, Reefer, and Rachel are waiting for him. The van door slides open. O'Malley and Dee jump out. They help Brew to the table. Taka trails behind, limping badly.
Over there. Sit him over there.
On the table, she has a medical kit and a tray with some instruments, medication, and syringes.
Easy. Let's take a look.
Rachel carefully examines the wound.
You're lucky. It went through.
Rachel begins to clean the wound.
This is going to sting.
Brew nods. Rachel picks up a syringe and gives him a shot.
What the fuck happened? Where's Marcus?
No one responds. Rachel begins to tear up.
Rach, where the hell is Marcus?
Reef, can you finish up?
Rachel leaves the table and walks toward one of the trailers. Exterior office building, night. Agent Tibideaux kneels over Marcus's lifeless body. The young agent stands next to him. Police survey the scene. Tibideaux looks up at the gaping hole in the side of the building, and then down at Marcus.
That's a hell of a fall.
These wounds here aren't from the fall. Large caliber.
Shotgun.
Now, I know this calling card.
Interior, Warehouse HQ, Rachel's trailer, night. Court's at the trailer door. He knocks gently. No response. He carefully opens the door.
Rachel?
No one is in the main living area. Court enters. Lily's bedroom door at the end is open. He walks toward it.
Rachel?
Lily's in bed. Oxygen tubes run from her nose to a tank beside the bed. Rachel is caressing her head. She doesn't look up as Court enters.
Unintended. An accident.
It's okay, Mommy. Don't be sad.
I'm so sorry, Rachel.
He wasn't even doing this for himself. Reef just wants enough money to start his own mega grow farm. O'Malley wants a goddamn boat. Brew needs more lives, but Marcus, all he wanted to do was help her.
Court puts his hand on Rachel's shoulder. She turns, tears in her eyes. Court hugs her.
I'm sorry I got you into this.
I'm here because I want to be. For my own selfish reasons. You're doing this for your child.
Rachel adjusts Lily's blanket and then kisses her on the head. Court and Rachel quietly leave the room and move to the living room area. Rachel nabs a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses. Rachel plops down on the couch, Court right next to her. She pours them each a drink, tears running down her face. She takes a long drink.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Lily's father.
We split when she was 7. He built his own company while I stayed home. Things were fine until Lily got sick. Then everything changed. I changed. He just couldn't deal. But that's what helped pay for all of this. So what about you?
What about me?
It's hard to believe that the guru of past lives doesn't have any past lives.
How did you...
I've seen your file.
Oh, yeah. I could never really understand that. Logically, everyone should have them.
Now you know the answer. You're a first-timer, something we call an alpha, fresh from the collective.
Court finishes his drink. Rachel pours him another one.
An alpha. And you?
10.
10 lives. Why?
It's a long sundry list, Doctor. I had to do some things I'm not proud of to survive when I was younger. I guess I'm just irredeemable.
You really think you're irredeemable?
Rachel motions to Lily's room.
She's my redemption.
She reaches up and drops the blinds to the trailer window. Interior, office, day. There's a man on the phone. We close on his mouth.
Yes, Agent. It's quite unfortunate.
No one else has to die. It's unwanted attention neither of us needs. Call him off.
The security protocol has been activated. It's out of my hands.
Look, we had a deal. We get H.C.A.T and you get what you need. Let me handle this.
If you say so.
I just need help with one.
Of course you do.
The man clicks his tongue and twitches. Interior, Warehouse HQ, bunk trailer, night. Blinds closed on a window. Taka sits up in bed. He peeks out through the window blinds next to his bed. Bru's asleep on the cot, and Dee has headphones on working at the computer. Someone's leaving the building with a backpack. Interior, Warehouse HQ, Rachel's trailer, night. Court and Rachel are still on the couch together. Rachel notices the cross tattoo on his wrist.
What's that about? I thought you believed in science.
Our mother. Just a reminder.
What happened exactly?
She was very faithful. Went to Bible study every week. You know, the whole thing. Never missed one. Anyway, she's heading back home one night. Never makes it. Found her car, but not her. I just want to know what happened. She's still here, or
Or she reconnected?
maybe?
Court takes a gulp of his whiskey. Rachel moves in closer.
Look, I haven't told you everything, Robert.
What do you mean?
There are many alphas, but there is something else.
What else?
The Omega. Only one.
Omega?
One person through which all consciousness here on Earth can pass and be cleansed. A physical vessel here, but also still connected consciously to the collective.
So, no actualizations? Rehabilitation? No keeper?
Yes. Our statistical analysis tells us that the Omega is on Earth now, but not fully consciously aware.
Not sure I follow.
Consciousness develops over time, just like our physical structures. The Omega's consciousness must come to maturity before manifesting itself fully. It is hidden from us until the Omega is ready to reveal themselves. Not even the Keeper knows who it is.
Why are you telling me this?
Rachel glances briefly towards Lily's room, hesitates.
Because we know who.
Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Suddenly, yelling and commotion in the warehouse. Rachel and Court jump up off the couch and exit into the warehouse. Bru has upended a table and has Dee up against one of the main support columns, his forearm across Dee's throat.
You dumbass motherfucker. How did they access the elevator, Dee? Huh? Huh?
Bru, let him go!
Bru doesn't move. His face is 2 inches from Dee's.
You fucked it up.
Bru!
I should just bring his little scrawny neck.
Rachel finally reaches them.
Bru!
She gently puts her hand on his shoulder.
Let him go. It's not his fault.
Bru looks at Rachel and then back at Dee. He lets him go, wheels and walks away.
Marcus knew the risks. We're all going to miss him, but he wouldn't want us to do this.
Rachel gathers her strength.
We're close. We're so close.
Silas walks over and gives Bru a tap on the shoulder.
It's okay, big guy.
Silence, as everyone contemplates Rachel's words. Dee's picking up several papers strewn across the floor from Bru's tantrum. Collecting himself, he stops.
Wait, where's the Adatron? What do you mean? The Adatron and the analyzer, they were right here. Where the hell did they go?
Just then, Bru's phone rings. Taka's name pops up. Exterior docks, night. Taka is hunkered down behind a shipping container.
We got a problem.
Where are you?
Just a few miles due south from our building. The docks. Reef, he's got something going down.
Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Bru looks at the table where the Atatran used to be.
Shit. Hey, keep your phone on so we can lock in your location.
Exterior docks, night. Taka peers around the edge of the shipping container. Reef is standing out in the open by the edge of the docks. 2 black SUVs approach in the distance. The SUVs stop about 30 feet from where Reef is standing. Several men get out. Agent Tibideaux emerges and approaches Reef. Exterior docks, rooftop, night. The Spaniard is perched on a nearby rooftop. He tucks in behind the scope of his rifle. Point of view, he puts the crosshairs on Reef. He then moves them slowly over and puts them on Agent Tibideaux. Exterior docks, night. Taka ducks back behind the container. He notices a man on the roof of the adjacent building with a rifle. Taka looks back at where Reef and Tibideaux are standing.
Do you have it? Let me see the cash.
Tibideaux motions to one of the men standing by the SUV. He carries a duffel bag over and drops it on the ground.
Open it, dumbass.
The man bends down and unzips the bag, revealing a large amount of cash.
Satisfied? Show me, please.
Reefer removes the backpack from his shoulder and opens it, revealing bottles of Atatran and the analyzer.
Excellent.
Tibideaux extends his hand. Reef hesitates. Exterior docks rooftop, night. The Spaniard is still tucked behind his rifle. Point of view, he moves the crosshairs back onto Reef. The Spaniard takes a deep breath. He gently places his finger on the trigger. Exterior docks, night. Taka looks back up at the man on the roof.
Reef!
Taka fires at the man on the roof. Exterior docks rooftop, night. The Spaniard ducks down as the bullets ricochet around him. Exterior docks, night. Reef reacts and reaches quickly for his gun.
No, don't.
Tibideaux's men pull their weapons and open fire. Reef is hit, sending him to the ground. Tibideaux quickly grabs the backpack and duffel bag, looking back up at the roof where the Spaniard was. Taka jumps out from behind the shipping container, spraying bullets toward Tibideaux and his men. Tibideaux and his men retreat to the SUV, firing back. Taka dives back behind the container for cover, watching helplessly as the SUVs speed off. He runs over to where Reef is lying. Reef is bleeding from a gunshot wound to his upper torso.
Reef, you dumb son of a bitch.
Sorry, Taka. I just wanted...
Reef closes his eyes and goes motionless. The Humvee arrives. The door flies open.
Taka!
He's still alive.
Brew hops out and lifts Reef fireman carry on his shoulder. He opens the rear cargo area and lays Reef in the back. He quickly shuts the door and then gets in the back seat with Court. Taka jumps in the front passenger seat. Exterior Humvee, night.
Which way?
There.
The Humvee speeds onto the main corridor of the docks. They see one of the SUVs ahead. Court crawls into the back with Reefer to check on him.
He's still got a pulse.
Put pressure on the wound. There's a first aid kit under the seat.
Court finds the kit and some gauze. He starts working. Stacks of shipping containers whiz by as the Humvee speeds towards the escaping SUV, gaining on its taillights.
Where's the other one?
A second SUV darts out from an intersection behind them. Two men lean out the windows, firing. Bullets rake the Humvee.
I think we found number 2.
Taka leans out his window and fires back. Bullets continue to ricochet off the Humvee as Rachel weaves back and forth.
Brew! Maxine!
From the floor, Brew brings up a long case. On it, white lettering, the word Maxine, with 3 big red kissing lips stickers around it. He opens the case. Inside, an RPG. He takes it out and loads one of the grenades into the weapon. On the grenade in black marker, the words, "Give Mama a kiss." Popping out of the top of the Humvee, he props the weapon up on his shoulder and fires. Point of view, we ride the grenade toward the SUV. It enters the front window of the SUV and explodes, turning the vehicle into a mass of tangled steel and flames. Brew pops back down onto the back seat.
One down.
Interior SUV, night. Tibideaux is in the front passenger seat. He looks back.
Hurry, goddammit.
The agent in the back seat leans out the back window and fires back at the Humvee. Bullets ping off the hood. The SUV makes a sudden turn down another corridor. Stacked containers rise like small metal office buildings. The Humvee misses the turn, skids to a stop. Interior SUV, night.
Turn here.
The SUV turns left at an intersection of containers and speeds forward to another main corridor. It turns left again, back in the opposite direction. Interior Humvee, night. Rachel throws it in reverse and then turns to go down the corridor where the SUV was headed. The SUV is gone. She bangs on the steering wheel with her fists. Interior SUV, night. Tibideaux looks back behind them. No Humvee.
Good, go.
Interior helicopter, night. The helicopter whirs into view about 25 yards in front of the SUV. Silas is in the cockpit, piloting the deadly bird. Interior SUV, night. Surprised, Tibideaux looks up at the helicopter. He puts his hands on the dash, bracing for the inevitable. Interior helicopter, night. Close on Silas, smiling. A barrage of bullets from the underslung .20 caliber minigun. Shell casings rain down in a steady cascade. Interior SUV, night. Bullets rip through the hood and roof of the SUV. The 2 subordinate agents are riddled, blood flying. Exterior docks, night. The SUV slams sideways into a 4-story stack of containers. The container at the top slides precariously close to the edge, teetering. The Humvee arrives at the scene. Brew gets out, pistol in hand. Rachel and Court follow, walking slowly up to the SUV. Tibideaux, bloodied and weak, attempts to extract himself from the damaged SUV. His door is stuck due to the impact. The thrumming helicopter hovers above. Brew reaches through the broken window and grabs the backpack and the duffel bag. Tibideaux looks at Rachel and then to Court.
We're the lesser of two evils, Doctor.
Rachel turns and nods to Taka, who is now in the driver's seat of the Humvee. He floors it. The rumbling Humvee T-bones the SUV, causing the top container to tip off the edge. It topples straight down, crushing the SUV like a pancake. Interior Warehouse HQ, night.
Get him out. Easy.
Brew, Taka, and Silas help pull Reef out of the back of the Humvee. They rush him into the medical tent. Interior, medical tent, night. Rachel starts to scrub up. She takes control.
Brew, I need 3 units of B-positive stat. Tack, I'll need another pair of hands. Doc, outside, now.
Court exits the tent. Brew shuts the flap behind him. Exterior, docks, night. Close on, black, laced-up army boots slowly walking across the pavement. The boots stop at the pancaked SUV. Oil and gas puddle and stream along the pavement. The Spaniard leans down to get a better look into the SUV. He scans the front and back seats. The front driver's side door is buckled open from the impact. There's a 6-inch gap between the door and the frame. Something catches his eye. Tibideaux's phone. He slowly reaches in with a gloved hand and grabs it. He puts it in his pocket. He pulls out his phone and dials. Interior, office, day. There's a man on the phone. We close on his mouth.
Speak.
It's done.
The man clicks his tongue and twitches.
Clean it.
Exterior, docks, night. The Spaniard pockets his phone. He slowly takes his gloves off, pulling each finger one at a time. He carefully folds them and tucks the pair into his belt. He then reaches into his pocket and pulls out a pack of cigarillos. He pulls one out and lights it. He reaches down and wipes some dirt off his pants, then picks a piece of lint off the black crop neck he's wearing. Leaning against the smashed SUV, he takes a long drag. He slowly exhales the smoke. He starts walking away from the vehicle. One last long drag. He flicks the cigarillo casually behind him onto the pavement and into a long stream of gas, leading back to the SUV. The gas ignites. The SUV goes up in flames. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Rachel emerges from the tent, ripping off her bloody rubber gloves and dropping the mask from her face.
How is he?
He'll live. No major organ damage. BP is stable. The vest saved him.
Taka and Brew are now outside the tent, listening.
Reef wouldn't do us like that, bro. He can be a wild card at times, but not this. Something else is going on here.
Well, he's not talking anytime soon.
Doc, do you think you can access his memories?
I can try, but it could put a strain on his heart. We'd have to be careful. I'll have to transfer them to a conscious host, a surrogate.
No, it's too dangerous.
Fuck that. We need to know what's going on here. I'll do it.
I said no.
Taka gets in Rachel's face.
Not your call this time.
Interior, medical tent, night. Reefer lays quietly on the bed, resting. Taka is next to him in a chair. Both are hooked up to the analyzer.
Here we go.
Court hits replicate on his computer screen. Interior, Taka's vision, night. Like scenes cut from a film, a voyeur in Reef's life over the past few days, images start to appear to Taka. Taka is seeing Reef on the docks, talking to Tibideaux. Deeper, images appear. Reef's talking on the phone to Tibideaux.
I don't understand. It's more than just H.C.A.T, much more.
The images fade. Deeper now still. Total darkness, except a light shining on where Reef is standing, in front of a man sitting in a chair. His back is turned to Taka.
It can all be yours. Everything you always wanted.
Taka moves slowly toward the man in the chair. Reef still standing, listening, not moving, like he's in a trance.
She talked all of you into this, but she doesn't care about any of you.
Taka is right behind the man in the chair. The chair swivels around. The man jumps up and grabs Taka by the throat. His face inches from Taka's.
What are you doing here?
Interior medical tent, night. Taka's body jumps. He's struggling.
What's wrong?
He's experiencing what he's seeing.
Interior, Taka's vision, night. The grip around his throat tightening, squeezing harder. Interior medical tent, night. Taka squirms in his chair. His hands move towards his throat.
He's not breathing. Do something.
Taka, in 3, 2, 1. You're back.
Taka is still struggling to breathe. Interior, Taka's vision, night. The man puts his lips up to Taka's ear and whispers.
Tell the doctor I'm waiting for him.
Interior, medical tent, night. The team is frantic as Taka continues to gasp for air.
I need Taka back now. In 3, 2, 1.
Taka wakes with a start, rips the electrodes off his head. He just had the worst nightmare of his life. He rubs his neck. Rachel reaches down and raises his head. Finger marks, as if someone was strangling him. He yanks his head away.
What happened? What did you see?
Reef. I saw Reef, but there was someone else in there with us.
Interior, warehouse HQ, night. D is at the computer, goggles on. Team gathered around him.
I've been able to sort and compile over 1,000 sketches from Doc's files. It's really quite impressive.
That's over 10 years worth of research. It better be.
I started with a face template, very generic, just so the computer has a reference point. You know, if it looks like an ear or part of an ear, then it goes here. The program compares each of the sketches to the template. I sorted all the matched areas for similarities.
He pulls up examples.
How many lips were thin versus thick, what kinds of noses. Then the program averaged each feature in its sample.
And?
This is what I got.
D hits enter. The face of a man begins to emerge on the screen. Millions of pixels fill in the features. From D's goggles, a 3D holographic image is projected. A Caucasian male, 70s, a mane of thick gray hair, a notch on the top of the left ear, the nose Romanesque, piercing eyes.
That's him. The guy I saw.
Who the hell is that? That's what we're about to find out.
Interior, police station, night. O'Malley sits at his desk. The phone rings. He picks it up and sees a message from an unknown caller. He sets the phone next to his computer, taps a button on his phone, and the file moves quickly to his desktop. Looking over his shoulder to make sure no one is watching, he slowly opens the file. It's the picture of the mystery man. He quickly minimizes it and accesses another program on his computer. Clicking on an icon that reads GRID, Global Recognition Identification Database. He drags the picture file of the mystery man and drops it into an empty field on the GRID page. O'Malley moves closer to his computer to obstruct the view from anyone walking by. He hits the search button. After 10 seconds, it stops. Search results. One name appears. Devlin Cray III. Interior, warehouse HQ, night. D receives the message on his computer.
Got it.
Everyone stops what they are doing and gathers around D. He opens the message from O'Malley.
Devlin Cray III?
D is already on another computer, typing vigorously.
Devlin Cray III, born 1970 in Belfast, Ireland. Stanford Masters and Doctorate in Psychology. Millionaire by 21, multi-millionaire by 25. Current net worth, 1.2 billion. Ooh. Owns a transport company, oil, weapons, contracts with the military, donates to both major political parties. Sorry, all you libertarians.
Do you have an address?
Looks like the parent company, Craig Corporation, HQ outside of San Jose.
Taka, Sai, we're going to need recon. Schedule, security, building layouts, the usual. Where he goes, when he goes, and who he goes with.
Exterior, the keeper's compound, day. Silas, in camouflage fatigues, is hunkered down in a scattered tree line about 100 yards from the compound. Point of view, peering through binoculars at the field and gated front entrance to the compound. He speaks into his earphone mic.
This ain't good. 50 yards of empty space between the tree line and that first fence. Looks like 10 foot with razor wire. Guessing the whole area is set with ground sensors. What about you, Taka?
Exterior, the keeper's compound, day. Taka hides on a hill looking down on the front gate. He's tucked in behind a sniper rifle. Point of view, through the scope, several guards patrolling the entrance.
2 double barricaded entrances with 4 guards at each station. Looks like the fucking green zone down there. D, Brew?
Interior van, day. A quarter-mile away, Dee and Brew view the terrain on a large screen, taken from a hovering drone above the building.
Move to the north a bit. Copy that. Attack. Looks like that dead zone surrounds the entire compound. Guards in the corner towers. There's a helipad on the roof.
That could give us what we need.
Interior warehouse HQ, night. The team is gathered around a table, Rachel at the head.
Looks like he lives and works in the same place. No vehicle in or out of other than Craze. It's a fortress in the middle of nowhere.
Silas crosses to a whiteboard where several photos hang.
Only one road in. Guards here, here, and here. Towers on 4 corners, dead zone, motion sensing devices, and cameras. 18 floors.
Satellite and radio antennas by the helipad up top.
Dee, bring up the building, please.
D types. A 3D holographic image projects from his goggles.
Zoom in on the top.
D types. Rachel points at a door.
That's our way in.
How? Brew and Reef are out of commission. I'm half speed with this ankle. We need stealth. 1 person.
Everyone looks around the table. Silence.
Where's Iron Man when you need him?
Iron Man's dead. True. They definitely killed the wrong dude, though.
Agree. Should have killed the other guy in the suit. What was his name?
Jim.
Oh yeah, Jim, the black guy.
How many brothers do you know named Jim?
His suit was too big for him anyway. That small head in the big suit just looked weird.
The $6 million man.
Not black and didn't wear a suit.
I know, but Jim is the name of Steve Austin's stepdad. Steve kicked ass.
I didn't know that.
Oscar Goldman. I want to be Oscar.
Yes, Oscar. Good one, big guy.
Me. I can do it.
Goldman? I thought it was Goldberg.
Like the wrestler?
No, he kicks ass.
I'll do it.
Hmm?
What? Do you have to put on a little cosplay outfit over here or something? I said I'll do it. Has to be me. I'm the one he wants.
Sure, Doc. You've been hitting Reeves' stuff again?
Wait. Go on.
I've been working for some time now on a new level of transference. Multiple attributes transferred at one time.
I recall reading something about that.
I'm talking about transference to a completely different consciousness.
You mean like transferring one of my attributes into you?
More than that. Multiple attributes from multiple hosts in a surrogate consciousness.
Are you crazy? Have you ever done that before?
Yes, sort of.
Successfully?
Not yet.
We get 1 shot. That's too risky.
One person with multiple abilities. You can't do it, Lily needs you. Brew, Reef, and Taka are both out. Silas needs to fly the bird, O'Malley for the evac. It's the only way.
Rachel looks over at the crew and then back at Court.
We're bleeding out here, Rach. It's now or never.
Are you sure you can make the transference work?
If it doesn't, it won't matter. I'll either be dead or batshit crazy.
Later. Brew, Taka, Silas, and Dee lie on cots next to each other. Each one has electrodes attached to his head with wires connected to the H.C.A.T frequency analyzer. They are under hypnosis and in their individual sleep states. Court lies on his own cot next to them. Electrodes run to the frequency analyzer and back to a laptop. Electrodes on his chest connect to a heart monitor. Court types on the laptop. Multiple waveforms appear.
I've pinpointed the attributes. When I'm done, wake them up like I showed you, or they'll wake up on their own.
What about you?
Rachel puts her hand on his shoulder. Court grabs it.
I'll be all right. Remember, 1 full dose before you hit this button. Give it evenly over 20 seconds. Too fast, and my consciousness won't handle it.
What do you mean?
Too quick an absorption will turn my consciousness into a black canvas. Those attributes I'm accessing, their personas, as well as any free consciousness or energies I'm in, that I'm in contact with, could become permanently imprinted on me. I could lose all or part of myself.
O'Malley looks at Rachel.
No pressure.
Then, another full dose halfway at the 30-second mark. At that point, O'Malley, you'll have to increase the intensity of the gamma frequency levels up by 10% every 5 seconds.
O'Malley nods.
1 last dose at 1 minute, right at the end of the transference. Too early or too late, and I likely won't retain all of the attributes. Too fast?
Got it. I got it.
Ready?
Court puts himself into a relaxed, sleep-like state. Rachel makes her entrance with the needle into his arm.
In 3, 2, 1. First dose going in. Starting transfer now. 20 seconds.
She pushes the button. Court's vision, interior, Brew's consciousness, night. As the first transference from Brew begins, his muscles tighten. A war scene somewhere in the desert. Brew's shooting and yelling instructions to other soldiers. Explosions all around him. A soldier goes down near him. Brew's screaming for a medic. Suddenly, we're in a tunnel, moving swiftly. Then we stop. Court's vision, interior, Taka's consciousness, night. Taka's a young boy in a dojo learning karate. He's sparring. Kicks and punches fly. He's punishing his opponent. An arm and then a sudden shoulder flip. The opponent hits the mat hard. Taka is on him, ready with the death blow. He stands, bows respectfully to his master. The colors shimmer and blur, accelerating. He slaps and pokes his opponents with a kendo stick, moving gracefully, effortlessly, and quickly. So quick, lightning fast. Bap, bap, bap. Again, back in the tunnel. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night.
5 seconds. Counting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Second injection. 20 seconds.
O'Malley increases the frequency. Court's body twitches hard. She looks to O'Malley, worried. Court's vision, interior, multiple consciousnesses, night. The lives of the hosts race before Court's eyes. Voices, laughter, gunfire, fighting, images of flying, computer code streaming, a collage of sights and sounds.
50 seconds. Countdown to 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The images race by Court as if he's in a tunnel, turning and twisting, rising and falling. Faster and faster until suddenly everything stops. He floats in space. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night.
Last dose. 20 seconds.
Court twitches hard. His heart monitor goes crazy.
He's in AFib.
O'Malley grabs the portable defib and hands it to Rachel. She pulls out the paddles, adjusts the voltage, and gets to work. Court's vision, interior, universe, night. Court's consciousness flies through the universe. Clusters, galaxies, super gas novas, flashes of light race by him. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night.
Clear.
Rachel hits him with the paddles. Court's body jumps. The monitor is still showing an erratic heartbeat. Court's vision, interior, mother scene, night. Court emerges from the tunnel to see his mother, an ethereal image standing in front of him. She rubs the cross necklace around her neck. Court reaches for her. A flash of light. Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Rachel is back at the defib machine.
Again. Come on. Clear.
She hits him again. Court's body jumps. Finally, steady beeps from the monitor.
Holy fuck!
Rachel has her head in her hands. She looks up at O'Malley and laughs. Court slowly opens his eyes.
What's so funny?
You gave us quite a scare, Doc.
How do you feel?
Thirsty.
Brew, Taka, Silas, and Dee come out of their sleep states. The crew gathers round.
And did it work?
Only one way to find out.
Interior, Warehouse HQ, night. Court sits at a table with a disassembled AR-15. Brew clicks the timer on his phone.
Ready. Begin.
Court puts the AR-15 back together in seconds.
Again.
Same result, except faster. Firing range. Taka fires 9 shots at a target 15 yards downrange. A few shots miss the center of the human silhouette. Court fires 9 rounds. Court's shots are clustered nicely on the head and middle of the chest of the silhouette. Boxing ring. Taka dodges side to side. Court stands still. Taka throws an easy jab at Court's stomach. It lands lightly. Court flicks a lightning-fast jab, catching Taka in the nose. Taka's head snaps back.
So it's gonna be like that.
Taka bobs and weaves, then throws a quick jab at Court's head. Court easily dodges, jumps in the air, and places a back kick in Taka's midsection, hurling him against the ropes.
You okay, sweetie?
At computer, Court plays a video game against Dee. He kills Dee's little monsters at an incredible rate. Dee shakes his head and throws his hands up in disbelief. Parachute practice. Court steps through the leg loops of a parachute harness, drops his arms through, and pulls it over his shoulders. He snaps the upper clasp and snaps the belt around his waist. The harness is adjusted too small. Court grimaces and pulls at the leg V loops that are squeezing him into a tight bunch. Silas holds his hands up in apology. Back at table, the group has assembled again.
I've never seen anything like that.
The transfer under extreme levels can cause the attribute to hypermanifest. The high-intensity gamma associated with high doses of Atatran have heightened the abilities.
How long before it starts to wear off?
At such a high dose, I'd say a couple more hours.
We better go then.
I'll be coming in from the southeast. Doc will jump from 1,200 feet. Plenty of time to make adjustments.
Wind?
10 to 20 mile per hour gusts, not ideal.
Robert, once you're on top, go straight for the door and that security keypad. Oh, everything set?
O'Malley nods.
The generator will kick on in 10 to 15 seconds. The computers will take almost a minute to reboot, though. That's your window. Once you're in, we'll be blind.
You're gonna have to start at the top and work your way down. I'll be near the front gate. I'll talk them so for 300 yards out, keeping an eye on the guards.
Try to find a master terminal.
It's likely Cray's the only one who can make changes.
I know, but it's worth a shot. If not, you'll need to find Cray himself. Taka, any of those guards move, reach out and touch somebody. Is everybody clear?
Nods all around.
Listen, we're not sure what you're going to find in there. Cray is very powerful. His abilities are not necessarily confined to this physical world. You'll need to keep your senses about you at all times.
Rachel hands the syringe of Atatran to Court.
Don't lose this.
Exterior, helicopter, night. Silas flies the helicopter with Court in the open area in the back. The side door is open.
Whenever you're ready.
Court gives him a thumbs up and jumps from the helicopter. Exterior, the keeper's compound, night. Bird's eye view, Court in freefall. Seconds later, he pops his chute and floats down toward the helipad. He struggles with the controls as the wind picks up. A big gust of wind pushes him past the landing zone.
Shit.
He flies past the building. His chute catches on a satellite antenna. Court slams back into the side of the building, 10 feet below the roof's edge. His AR-15 hangs precariously by its strap on his foot. He grabs for the strap. The edge of the antenna rips through the chute and he slips several feet. The gun tumbles. Grabbing the chute rigging above his head, Court starts walking up the side, the chute tearing a little each step. Just as he is about to reach the top, the chute tears completely through. Court begins to free fall, but grabs the round protruding railing around the edge of the roof just in time. He hoists himself up and over the edge onto the roof and rolls over onto his back, looking up at the pitch-black sky.
That wasn't in the manual.
Exterior, hillside, night. Taka is hunkered down behind a sniper rifle. Through his scope, he sees a light blink twice from the building rooftop.
Iron Man has landed. Barely.
Exterior, electrical substation, night.
Copy that. Going dark.
O'Malley and Dee hop out of the van and walk up to the fence surrounding the substation. The low hum of hundreds of thousands of volts coursing through the lines and transformers above their heads. O'Malley puts on a large pair of rubber gloves. Dee hands him bolt cutters. He cuts the padlock, removing the chains that were securing the gate.
Stay here. This shit can get squirrely.
O'Malley carefully walks up to one of the large cabinets and cuts off another smaller padlock. He opens the door, revealing an array of small switches along with a much larger breaker lever. He looks back at Dee.
Hold on to your skirts, ladies.
He reaches up and pulls the switch down. Sparks fly from the power lines above their heads. The hum from the substation slowly subsides to silence. Exterior, the keeper's compound, night. Court reaches the keypad next to the access door. All of the lights in and around the office building go off. Holding the flashlight in his mouth, he drills 2 small holes in the keypad, one each at the top and the bottom. From each hole, he carefully pulls out a wire. Just then, lights come back on as the backup generator kicks in. He takes out a small handheld computer and attaches wires from the computer to the 2 wires coming from the keypad. He looks at his watch. 30 seconds. He taps a button on the computer. Lines of code appear. He quickly types access files. Several rows of file names appear. He scrolls through them.
Come on, where are you?
Emergency access appears. He taps it. Court glances at his watch again. 15 seconds. He finds the subfile. All emergency exit locations are listed. He checks his watch. 7 seconds. He scrolls to roof. 3 icon boxes pop up. Arm, disarm, and reset. Court puts his thumb over the fingerprint recognition sensor. With his other hand, he types in 0000 into his handheld. He hits the reset just as time runs out. The keypad light blinks and then illuminates with its normal blue hue. Reboot complete. He places his thumb back on the fingerprint sensor and enters the code directly into the keypad. Nothing happens. Seconds crawl by. A buzzer sounds. The lock disengages. He pulls the lever down and opens the door. He's in. Stairwell. Court enters a stairwell and slowly descends to a landing. The landing opens into a very long, bending hallway. Hallway. Court pulls his pistol from his shoulder holster and walks down the hallway. It seems impossibly long. Soft, glowing blue lights line the ceiling and floor. To the left, no windows. To the right, there are no doors, with the exception of one about 20 yards ahead. Court surveys his surroundings. He continues toward the door. Reaching it, he sees another keypad for secure entry. He again uses his thumb and code to unlock the door. Grated walkway. Court steps onto a metal grated walkway. The inner area of the building is hollow, a gigantic silo. Each floor a huge ring with a metal walkway along the middle. The walkway he is on leads around only half of the circumference of the inner space. A ladder at the end leads down to another walkway that leads around the opposite half of the next ring's circumference. At the bottom, about 120 feet down, he sees bridges that crisscross in the center to allow access from side to side. The inner walls are a mass of large, multicolored, swirling and merging lights. Court is mesmerized. He turns to inspect the wall closely. He touches it. Lights below the surface change color and deform like ripples from a pebble dropped in water. Underneath the glass, images of people living their daily lives, names and information scrolling around them. He touches a name. Instantly, the face of a man appears under the glass, screaming at the top of his lungs.
Come here!
No, you're drunk again!
Said come here, bitch.
Court quickly taps on the face again. It disappears. He moves further down the hallway. Another image. A fetus in a mother's womb. Its thumb is in its mouth, its heart beating. Above the image, the words, "Consciousness transfer in progress, 82% complete." He slowly backs away.
Oh my God.
He turns, viewing the whole structure. Images continue endlessly, spanning its entirety. Court scans for access to the crisscrossing bridge below. As he looks up, he sees a terminal interface protruding from the wall 100 feet down the walkway. Court proceeds to it. The interface is flat, smooth, thin, and black, about the size of a computer keyboard, but with no keys. He hovers his hand over the interface. It illuminates. In front of him on the wall, a dark 1 foot by 1 foot area appears. In the middle, 2 empty, blinking data field. Court types in Lily's name and 12-digit ID. Her profile and picture materialize. Court scans the information. Her rehabilitation term, 12% complete. There's a button, actualization. Under that, insert, delete, amend. He touches them. Nothing happens. He tries one more time. Again, nothing.
Come on.
Court hits the escape key. Lily's profile disappears. He enters his mother's maiden name, Deborah Jaffe, her code. Her file appears. He quickly scans. Major events, college, marriage, his birth. Further down, scanning, then the night she disappeared. The information stops, as if it's been deleted.
Where is it?
He scrolls up and down. Nothing about her disappearance. Suddenly, red blinking letters. Unauthorized access. Immediately, loud metallic banging. To his left, the end of the hallway has begun to disappear. 3-foot metal sections sucked into the wall, one right after the other. He turns and runs toward the opposite end of the walkway. The sections behind him disappear at a quicker pace. As the last section is about to disappear from under him, he jumps. Planting his foot on the railing, he launches himself over the 20-foot gap, down to the walkway below. Lower walkway. He lands with a crash. Another loud bang. The walkway he's now on starts to retract. All of the semicircle walkways are retracting. Bang, 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 except for the crisscrossing bridge at the bottom. Taking the rope from his shoulder, he ties off the line, steps off the walkway, and rappels down. 20 feet above the bridge, but not directly over the walkways. He's out of rope. Court runs up the wall to the right and then back to the left, gaining altitude each time. On his last swing to the left, the section of walkway that the rope is tied off to is sucked into the wall. The rope snaps. Court free falls toward the bridge below. Court hits the outside of the railing with his chest. Looping his upper arms over, he secures himself onto the rail. His feet hanging free, the rope dangles into the bottomless darkness below. He hoists himself over onto the bridge platform. He pauses briefly to compose himself, then moves to the nearest door, opens it, and steps through. Exterior, Simulation Room 1, day. A war zone in Afghanistan. Dirt under his feet, broken and smashed rock walls, and bullet-riddled buildings. Court squints to adjust to the beating sun, yellow hot in a cloudless sky. Sand whips across his face. Court moves forward. He sees something dash between two small walls to his left, about 30 feet in. He moves to his right, the same action. He stops and points his weapon in the direction of the movement. A shot rings out, destroying the edge of the wall above his head. Court spins behind another crumbling half wall, firing. Something dashes between structures about 20 feet away. Court traverses an open area, shots zip past, barely missing. Court fires back, then dives behind a burnt-out pickup. To his left, a young Afghan boy is huddled behind one of the walls in fear. Court motions for the boy to stay. Court kneels, preparing to make the sprint. As he leaps from his current position, he stops in his tracks. A small red dot in the middle of his chest. A blast from a shotgun. Court flies backward onto his back. He doesn't move for several seconds. Court regains consciousness, frantically groping his chest. The Kevlar vest peeks through his ripped shirt. He props himself up, rubs his chest. The small boy is gone. A soft glowing light emanates from an open doorway. Court finds his pistol. He approaches the door. He enters. Exterior, Simulation Room 2, day. The deck of an ancient Spanish galleon. The floor is wooden and worn. The ocean breeze ruffles his hair. Seagulls cry. Court sees a man with his back to him. A ponytail. Court moves closer with his gun raised. The Spaniard whirls.
Welcome. So nice of you to come.
Court still has his gun trained on him.
Oh, Roberto. Guns are so boring.
Court pulls the trigger. Nothing. He tries again. Nothing.
Oh, that won't work here.
From behind his back, the Spaniard pulls two swords. He holds one in front of his face, admiring it.
I've always loved these weapons. Elegant, clean, so personal.
He tosses one to Court, who snatches it from the air. Court holsters his pistol, discards his vest and gear. The Spaniard grins, spinning his sword effortlessly.
Shall we begin?
Court feels the weight and balance of the blade in his hand. He moves it up and down. He nods and sneers at the Spaniard. The Spaniard circles. A lunge. Court flinches. The Spaniard moves gracefully. 3 strikes, swords clanging, left, right, left. Court parries and immediately riposts. The Spaniard slaps Court's sword to the side and spins away. The Spaniard advances. Left, right, left. Court parries. Again, right, left, right. The Spaniard pulls the end of Court's blade down to the floor. Releasing it, he chuckles. Court swings and misses, lodging the end of his sword in the side of the main mast. A gash across Court's mid-thigh. Court dislodges his sword, back into defensive position. The Spaniard slaps Court's weapon to the side, then again, moving in swiftly. Court catches the Spaniard's blade edge. Blades cross between their bodies. Their faces a foot apart. The Spaniard grabs Court by the back of the head. He pulls him toward him, a hard kiss on the lips. Court pulls away. The Spaniard releases. The blade cuts across Court's shoulder. Another gash. The blood is flowing. Court spits and wipes his mouth. The Spaniard winks. Enraged, Court sprints towards the Spaniard. A shoulder into the midsection. Bodies and swords go flying. The Spaniard pushes Court off. Both scramble to their feet. The Spaniard circles. A vicious kick to Court's left leg. Court buckles, then stabilizes. A straight right. A roundhouse kick to Court's face. Court reels back against the main mast. Out on his feet. A pause, then a final straight right headed for Court's nose. A sudden channeled burst of energy. Court reaches up and catches the fist with his hand. Twisting the Spaniard's arm, tweaking the joint, Court grabs the Spaniard by the throat. A headbutt, bursting the Spaniard's nose, a mass of blood. A flurry of punches puts the Spaniard on his back, stunned. Court drags the Spaniard by his hair towards one of the swords lying on the ground. Sword in hand, he straddles the Spaniard. The Spaniard tries to reach up with his hand. Court steps on his wrist, trapping it to the ground. Court slams his other foot on the Spaniard's chest. The Spaniard gazes up at Court, smiling. Court's pointing the sword down his throat, toward his throat.
Do it. I have 5 left.
4, bitch. Or is it Butch?
The Spaniard's smile disappears. Court drives the point of the sword through the Spaniard's neck, lodging it into the floor. Court grabs his gun. The door of the main ship cabin is slightly ajar. He listens, weak from the damage to his body, reaching for his syringe of Atatran. It's not there.
Bob, come in. I've been expecting you.
Interior, the keeper's office, night. Court moves into the room. Immediately, he's dizzy, unsteady. The room is large and round, stark in decor. A desk in the middle, dark glass-like walls all around.
Is this what you're looking for?
Devlin holds up the last syringe of Atatran.
There's no need to sneak around, Bob. Do you mind if I call you Bob?
Devlin wags his finger at Court.
You've been a very busy boy. So much determination and persistence. I like that in a man. Oh, I think you've met my other guests.
Devlin motions to his left. Rachel is on her knees. Lily is in her arms. Ashley stands guard over them with a pistol pointed at Rachel's head.
Rachel.
Court moves toward Devlin. Devlin cocks his head. Court winces in pain, his palms to his head. An instant migraine.
Oh, easy there, buckaroo. Uh-oh. What's the gun for, Bob?
Court sees the gun in his right hand. He's not sure how it got there. Devlin motions with his head.
Sit down, Bob.
There's a chair behind Court now. He sits. Court shakes his head, trying to clear it.
You know, Bob, I'm very impressed. Your technology works quite well. Parachute, swordplay, fighting.
Devlin moves his hand around him like he's fake karate fighting.
My Spaniard friend was no slouch. I think I'll miss him.
I won't.
No, I suppose not.
Court just looks at Devlin. His limbs move awkwardly, as if he's not in control of them.
Bob, you do know why you're here, right? What this is, don't you?
Devlin motions, and a multitude of wall-sized computer screens that surround the room illuminate. Court scans the room.
Let me guess. You're the keeper.
Yes, Bob, that I am. And here, I am God.
Devlin starts playing with the large gold ring on his left-hand pointer finger. Court is momentarily mesmerized by the light bouncing off it. He shakes his head to clear it.
Oh, but you don't believe in God, do you? It's not your fault, though. It's so hard to fathom, really.
Devlin turns to look at the multitude of screens lining the walls. Millions of lights are blinking.
Look at all of them, off and on and off. A never-ending cycle. More and more of them every day. I understand, though, Bob. I really do. They want to know what it's like. And you want to know.
Court sees different events in his life on the holographic screens behind Devlin. Devlin snaps his fingers. Court's mother, Deborah, pretty, early 30s, flashes across all of the holograms. One of the holograms enlarges to life-size form, right in front of Court. His mother is on one knee, holding out her arms wide. Court, as a child, runs into her arms, close on Devlin's mouth. Devlin speaks in Court's mother's voice.
Robert, come here. My beautiful, beautiful boy.
Devlin clicks his tongue and twitches. The hologram changes to an abandoned car on the side of the road. An old light blue 1985 Ford Escort. The driver's side door is open. The dome light is on.
I've been here for a long time, Bob. You and I aren't that different.
We're nothing alike.
Oh, but we are, Bob. That little science experiment of yours. You like the control, the power. I can see it in you. You like playing God.
Court shakes his head, no. Devlin walks up to Court and pulls out one of the small tactical knives that's sheathed on Court's sleeve.
Do you mind?
He slices the knife across his palm, a thin gash. He closes his hand into a fist and turns it sideways. Blood drips onto the floor.
Do you see, Bob? Flesh and blood.
Devlin tosses the knife aside.
Bob, I gotta tell you, I've been a solid performer. But what about you, Bob? You don't look so good.
Court's head hangs with his chin on his chest. But suddenly he raises his head, eyes wide, crazed, possessed. He vomits.
Uh-oh. Not on the shoes, Bob.
Court coughs, spittle hanging from his lips. Devlin pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and wipes his shoes off. He tosses it into Court's lap.
Clean yourself up, Bob. The power is intoxicating. Overwhelming, I know. But don't worry. You'll get used to it.
Stop it! You're killing him!
Devlin looks over at her and smiles.
That's good. That's very, very good. Now we're getting somewhere.
Court's head is bobbing like he's drugged.
Fuck you!
Devlin grabs Court's hair and lifts his head so he can see Lily.
Oh, Bob, such language in front of the children. Again.
Ashley looks quickly at Rachel, then Devlin, then Court. She regrips the pistol in her hand. Devlin lets go of Court's hair. Court looks to his right. He's holding the gun in his hand.
Are you the man I thought you to be?
In Marcus's voice.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, Doc. Like the song says, you can guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game.
Court rocks violently in his chair, the gun down at his side.
Woo-woo! 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 That's it, Bob. Yes, that's it.
Devlin dances in circles. He stops in front of Court.
Robert, you don't have to do this. Don't listen to him. He's lying.
Oh, that one there is so convincing. She truly is irredeemable.
Court raises his head, a look of recognition on his face.
What did you say?
Days earlier, the keeper's office. Rachel is standing in front of Devlin's desk. From the back, he's in his chair. Someone is next to him, face obscured.
So, you've seen it now?
And you can fix it? Her?
Yes, but it must be him.
Why him?
H.C.A.T. must not be allowed to develop further.
His assured destruction if he uses it?
Exactly. E-A-R-T-H must survive, Miss Johnson. But I'm an old man. The years have not been kind. My time in this vessel is almost up. However, there are rules, even for me.
What rules?
The person cannot have a past life. The vessel must be clean and alpha.
Flashback of Rachel and Court in the trailer.
It's hard to believe that the guru of past lives doesn't have any past lives.
Days earlier, the keeper's office.
He must come willingly. He can be persuaded but not forced.
Flashback of Rachel and Court in the trailer.
I'm sorry I got you into this.
I'm here because I want to be. For my own selfish reasons. You're doing this for your child.
Days earlier, the keeper's office.
And I cannot end my own life.
The person standing next to him gently lays their hand on his shoulder, each fingernail painted like the suit of a deck of cards. Spade, diamond, heart, club.
However, I must warn you, Miss Johnson, once in motion, there is no turning back. I can set the actualizations, but he must cross them. In fact, I will be required to try to stop him. Power such as this cannot be given freely. It must be taken. There will be unintended consequences. Do you understand?
What will he remember?
Nothing, everything, what he needs to.
And Tibideaux?
I have something very special in store for him. So, we have a deal then? Good.
Days earlier, the warehouse. A black hood over someone's head. A hand reaches down and yanks it off. It's Court under the hood. The group is standing around Court. He's still asleep on the cot from when Brew injected him in the car.
Okay, so we all know what has to happen here, right?
Why can't we just drag his ass over to the keeper now? Why the dog and pony?
The keeper's game, the keeper's rules. The doc has to do it himself. Free will. We will help clear the path. Does everyone understand?
The group nods.
Stick with the plan and you get what you want.
Rachel looks around the group. Taka and Reef fist bump.
Wake him up, Reef.
Present day. Devlin laughs. Shaking his head, he smiles at Court.
I'm sorry.
She looks down at Lily and then back at Court, sobbing.
I didn't know what else to do.
Court's point of view. The room spins violently. A carnival ride out of control. He's nauseated, sweating profusely. A trickle of blood runs from his nose. Remnants of vomit dot his chin. Faces and events of the past few days flash quickly in front of him. Screaming, talking, a tornado of sound. Ashley, Rachel, Lily appear amid the whirlwind. Louder, louder. Devlin clicks his tongue and twitches.
Thank you, Dr. Courtney.
Devlin sinks the syringe of Atatran into Court's neck, injecting the contents all at once. The whirling immediately slows to a stop. His consciousness opens, a blank canvas. Devlin grabs the gun from Court's hand, turns and points it toward Rachel and Lily. Silence, a beat. A gun fires. Exterior, yacht, day. A yacht floats lazily on a beautiful turquoise body of water. The water laps gently against the sides of the boat. From behind, a woman and a man lounge in chairs, a table between. They face the front, looking out on the water. A young woman in a bikini walks toward them with a serving tray, her face not visible. On the tray are 2 drinks. She replaces the empty glasses with fresh ones from her tray. The man reaches with his left hand to grab the new drink. He's wearing Devlin's large gold ring on his left pointer finger. He takes the glass and shakes it, rattling the ice. His phone rings. Close on his mouth, speaking into the phone. He clicks his tongue and twitches.
Talk to me.
We found it, sir.
Good. Send me the whole file.
The man brings the phone down so he can view the screen. A tattoo of a cross on his right wrist. On the phone screen, the file, a picture of a woman, pretty, in her early 30s, Court's mother, Deborah. Pull back to reveal Court, tan and wearing sunglasses. Rachel wearing a floppy summer hat. Lily is sitting at her feet, coloring, tan and healthy looking.
Are you sure you want to know?
Part of me.
Lily turns to Rachel.
Can I go swimming, Mommy?
Sure, sweetie.
Lily springs up. Before she leaves, she stops at Court. She leans in and whispers into his ear.
Don't worry, she's home.
She gives him a kiss on the cheek and runs off. Court turns to Rachel with an inquisitive look. The young woman with the tray is still standing behind them.
Will that be all, sir?
What? Oh, yes.
Rachel turns her head to look at the young woman and smiles.
Thanks, sis.
The young woman is Ashley. She turns and walks to the back of the boat. Brew is there, shirtless and in swim trunks. He touches her cheek, a bruise where he had hit her. She smiles and then slaps him on the ass. We see each fingernail painted like a deck of cards. Spade, diamond, heart, club. On her thumbnail, the letter A. Her hand moves away. A scar in the letter A shows on Brew's left butt cheek. She scampers away, giggling, launching herself off the boat into the blue water.
Oh, no, you don't.
Brew runs after her and does a cannonball off the side. Lily floats on an inner tube. She screams in delight as Brew lands, a huge explosion of water. Reefer floats lazily nearby on a rubber raft. Taka and Silas sit on jet skis, watching. They both laugh. Dee lounges at the back of the boat with 2 attractive young ladies in bikinis. O'Malley walks out of the main cabin.
Dee, did you drink all the dew again?
What?
Did you drink
You
all
know,
of...
O'Malley, that mustache you wear predicts a predisposition to...
Yeah. Did you know that those small feet of yours predict predisposition to a small penis.
Ignore him, ladies. There's no proven correlation between them.
Fullback. The name on the stern, easy peasy lemon squeezy. Fade out, credits roll, 15 to 20 seconds. Interior, farmhouse, night. A quaint farmhouse in the country. Its lights are on. Inside, several women are gathered, talking and laughing. At the front door, a few women are leaving. They're saying goodbye and thanking their host, older woman in her 60s. They all have little paper name tags stuck to their blouses. One young lady's reads, "Hello, my name is Deborah Jaffe."
Oh, are you sure you can't stay a little longer? Oh, thank you, but I really need to get back. The sitter. Thank you so much. Oh, you're very welcome. You drive careful now. See you next week.
Exterior, car on a country road, night. Deborah is driving her light blue 1985 Ford Escort down a lonely 2-lane country road. It's late. A light gray fog hangs over the road. The radio is on. A cross and a picture of a boy hang from the rearview mirror. A Bible sits on the passenger seat. Suddenly, the car starts to sputter. The engine coughs and chugs as it gasps for air and fuel, spitting again and again.
No. Come on, please.
Deborah looks down at the fuel gauge, half full. She stomps down hard on the gas pedal. No response. The engine flutters, dies. She coasts to a stop on the roadside. She tries turning the key a couple of times. The motor whines and wheezes. There's no use. Deborah bangs the steering wheel.
Darn it.
She exits the car. The dome light shines inside. The alarm dings. Her door is open. She folds her arms across her chest and surveys her surroundings. There's a chill in the air. Crickets are chirping. The moon illuminates the trees nearby. The yellow center line disappears into the darkness ahead. She shivers, then moves to the front of the car. Disengaging the latch, she lifts the hood. A plume of steam erupts. Suddenly, the sound of a vehicle approaching. She steps out from behind the raised hood. Out of the darkness, lights from a vehicle appear. An old pickup truck with its high beams on. Deborah starts waving her arms. The truck slows, then stops about 15 yards behind Deborah's car. The driver's door opens. A slim, dark figure exits, wearing a baseball hat and overalls. Deborah is having trouble making out the silhouetted figure. The pickup truck's lights in her eyes. She squints.
Hello? Please, can you help me?
The stranger's silent, approaching, head down. Now in front of her. The stranger looks up, the light illuminates the face. Devlin smiles, clicks his tongue and twitches.
What seems to be the problem, ma'am?
Credits roll.